Whittakee has been demoted and has got a 10 stream ban in place now. So, oh, bless him. Do you know what? The funniest part about that, guys, and thanks for you guys who did jump across and had patience with us on 2 occasions now tonight. But the funniest part about it isn't at the end of the stream, because it does happen and it is relatively easy to do. The worst part about it is that when Slurpee did it by mistake once, Whittakee absolutely ruined Slurpee about it, and still does. And I don't really say anything about it. To be honest with you, I'd forgotten about it. But yeah, So fair play to Whittakee. So he's never going to live that down now. But yeah, what he's saying in the chat. I wish I could bring up the comments for the other one, because I didn't see him myself, but Nimble told me that some of you guys made some necessary derogatory comments about Whittakee and obviously some funny comments, but I can't bring those up, unfortunately, guys. But yeah, what's up, everyone? Again, Force Bricks, he's out there. Ultra Bricks is out there. Don't send Whittakee the link. Yeah, it was just easy to send it to all 3, so he's already got it. So hopefully he didn't do that on purpose. Jedi Master Bricks is out there as well. We're behind you. Oh no! Oh no! Oh Christ! What did you get? What did you say after the stream went off, Garrett? Or somebody said, "Is it big?" We were introduced as the Lego friends, so she was like,
"Oh yeah." We had the Lego friend title. She was like, "Oh, that's your Lego friends." Oh, I was like, "Oh no, we're Lego friends."
Brick Dynasty saying, "I'm taking you all down with me." I can't wait to show these to Whittakee. He took everyone with him. Yeah. Oh no, I fucked up. And the worst part about it is the end of the stream went, "Oh, whoops," and then left. He didn't even stay to apologize.
Yeah, he didn't even stick around to say sorry, did he?
No, he's just like, "Whoops, see ya."
Got out of there.
Well, without the see ya. Oh no, Whittakee 2026. That was Whittakee's first comment.
First quote
of Cool Lang Luke show of the year, and also his last comment. But he's yet to know that. The show must indeed go on. Jedi Master Bricks, thanks for kicking with us. I gotta get out of here. Oh Christ. Anyway, so look, guys, where were we? Oh, we were buttering up M&R. So yeah, so look, I gotta be honest, there's people who like I said, I called out to after kind of getting to know him, or even before that, because we got to know each other on other streams and things like that, and I felt comfortable doing that. Even with Tyler, I didn't reach out to him to come on our show after he'd specifically said to my face on a stream, "Hey, anytime you want me on the show, let me know." And fair play, he did come through once or twice, never as the actual guest, but he's popped on some Free-Ballin episodes. However, when I have reached out to him to be the guest, he wasn't available, and I didn't think worse of him, especially when I later found out it's because he was really busy with his store, or the setup of his store, which obviously we didn't know at the time. But with M&R, I don't know, when you got or when you collectively have a stream and you have somebody like that who is, I don't even like using the word sort of royalty, but when you have somebody like that who is a bit more prestigious, and just for the sake of, you're only going to get him possibly once on a stream like this, if ever, you want to do it right. Like, you want to make sure, it's good content. You're not just going to be ending the stream by mistake halfway through or in the first 20 minutes.
You
know what I mean? But that makes us look like fucking. I don't mind in front of you guys, and even in front of the chat. But if we had, a decent guest like that, and we did that, he'd be like, "What the fuck is this fucking rinky-dink show?"
A bit tin pot in it.
It makes us look like lemons. So, I mean, I've always said from the beginning, I want us to be kind of real and true, and not like put on this huge kind of act and persona. I think that's done us well.
It's part of the law, mate. It's funny.
It is, and it is funny. And I think people are not attracted to, but people connect with seeing that vulnerability, and those errors and those mistakes. They connect to that because then they realize you're not these kind of technical geniuses, these YouTube superstars. We're just a bunch of with laptops and microphones, if we're lucky. Do you know what I mean? And I like that, and I like that. I connect to people who create content like that better myself. And of course, obviously, it's easier to do; it's less work. But in terms of preparing the show and putting a good show on, there is still that level of responsibility, and I feel that, even if the other hosts don't. And I'm not saying they don't care. I'm just saying that I still feel like that at the end of the day. And so I just thought, look, I'm not going to reach out to him until I've got something that he can get his teeth into, or I can have the time to plan it. So I did reach out to him before episode 66, just because, and I'm talking like a week before, just because I thought, he's quite in the community. He's quite synonymous with Clone Wars and clones and that kind of thing. And I thought that'd be a good episode that he could really kind of connect with for us and help us out. Didn't get any response. So he's liked posts in the past. I've shared things with him and he's like reacted to it. He's seen stories I've put on in the past. So it's not that, I don't think I'm a stranger necessarily, but to him, but I don't think he really knows about the show. So I did kind of say, look, we've got a little rinky-dink show. We'd love you to come on, even if it's just a flyby visit. But I didn't hear anything from him, and I just thought nothing of it. Look, I'm not going to pester the guy. Like Garrett said, I'm not going to be one of these people who messages him every week, because I think then it's going to be like, if anything, it's too full on. But like I said, Garrett was streaming, and we're going to ask Garrett about that, how that went, and talk a little bit about that in a sec. But for any of you who didn't get to check it out, but while he was in the chat, and I did expect him to be there because I know that him and Garrett have got a relationship in some way. So while he was in the comments, I thought, look, I'm just going to go for it. I don't care. If it was anyone else's, but with Garrett, I know he didn't mind. So I just
I don't care.
Em and I would love to get you on our show. And again, he didn't question, what show, what are you talking about? So obviously, I think he's aware that there is the show. He's aware of like who us or I am, to some degree at least. So he was like, yes, would love to, or something like that. And then it was like, where and what time. And then there was a bit of discussion about what time, because I think none of you could work out what the time difference was. And I just said, look, 7 p.m., 2 p.m. Eastern.
Well, it's hard for me because I'm different time zone than he is. So like I was trying to calculate your time zone to my time zone, then my time zone to his time zone. And I was like, I can't.
No, I get it, mate. I'm the same with like Liam and the Australian guys, because it's us and it's always been us and then the USA. So it's just, going backwards from there. But with Liam, where he's like 9 ahead, and then Bearded Brickman is like 8.5 or something like that. And then you got to try and translate. So when Liam was asking me, I know the difference between me and him, and I know the difference between me and the US, but trying to put those numbers together just blows my mind. So he was like, how many hours behind the US, ahead of the US am I? And I'm like, 9 plus 5, I think it's 14. No, wait. And then so I get it, man. I get it. But no, so you just pretty much said, yeah, love to, and let me know, when. And I just thought, well, at the moment he's not replying to my messages, so I'm not going to send him a link. But I think what Garrett said was it might make more sense to sort of tag him in the next show, the next time we do a show that I think he can get his teeth into, and we're a bit more prepared. I'll just tag him in it instead. And then maybe from there we can try and see if we can get him on as a guest. But, it's usually easier to get them pop in first and make that connection, and we go from there. But I did see in your WhatsApp you sent me, the first line of it was like, I can send you Ryan's phone number. And I was like, I wouldn't feel comfortable just phoning somebody like that, because the first thing you'd say is, where'd you get my number from? And then I know
I didn't say.
So when I read the message then.
Yeah.
I read the message then. I realized you said, I've got Ryan's number. Sorry, you said I got Ryan's number. Not I can give you Ryan's number. You put I got Ryan's number. If you want me, I can contact him for you. And I thought that's great. And again, it just goes to show the kind of guy you are, that you're not willy-nilly giving that out, but you're prepared to try and make a connection for us. So I appreciate that. Obviously, on behalf of the hosts, myself, and the viewers who might want to see him on the show or might not, or whatever. Appreciate you trying to make that connection, mate. But I won't do that because again, I don't want to appear like, we're kind of begging or whatever. So what I'll do is the next time I've got a show that's worth kind of talking about, I'll just tag him, because when I've tagged him in posts in the past, he has reacted to them. So that's probably the best way to get him to see it. And we'll go from there. But guys, the real reason I brought that up is because I just want to know, guys out there in the chat, what kind of thing do you think we could do if we ever did get Ryan on the show? And look, we've had some great people on the show. We've had, I don't want to specifically name people and make it sound like there's some kind of tier list, but I was surprised at how Hive is so readily available to come on the show. Every time I've asked him to come on the show, which has only been maybe 3 or 4 times, yes. Do you want to do a stream together? Yes. And somebody like him, I think he holds a lot of weight, especially for my age group within the community. So, and the same with Brent, he's really difficult to get hold of. But when I've messaged him in the past and said about a stream, he's like, "I'm always up for talking Star Wars. Just let me know." And it's like, okay, great. Because I was planning a stream before Christmas, and Ken knows a little bit about this because I reached out to him. Now, if you guys have watched Ken's show, Brick Dynasty, go and check it out. Subscribe there, doing some fantastic stuff. He had Tyler on, and that show was fantastic because they really, really got into the heart and the generational gap in Star Wars and Lego fans between Tyler and Ken was really interesting, an interesting dynamic to watch. And I love that kind of thing. And some of the questions he was asking, and it made me realize that it's almost 2 completely different types of fan in the same, and I'm just talking Star Wars now, not so much Lego, but 2 completely different fans under the same kind of community or group. And I've just always wanted to explore that dynamic a little bit. So I reached out to a couple of people from each of those age groups, if you like, without that kind of sounding ageist, who I know are passionate Star Wars fans. And I know there's a lot of people out there, so this isn't kind of, trying to eject people. But I was just trying to think of people who are pretty good in terms of carrying a stream. So I reached out. So the plan was to have Brent, Tyler, and Will from Will Ricks Productions, again, because they're 3 people I've connected with, been on the show, and I've had an in-person relationship with or connection with. And then myself, Ken, and Hive, potentially Sean, if he was able to make it, and have a kind of, 40-year-old-ish generation, 40 to 50-year-old generation, and a kind of 20-something generation, 20 early 30s generation, because, and specifically because of the age we were when the prequel trilogy came out, because the younger guys were kind of teenagers, like kids, whereas we were teenagers or kids when the original trilogy came out. So it's that, in terms of Star Wars, a full generation. So, and obviously the way they perceived it at the time and grew up with it, and then Clone Wars and everything else that came along, compared to us. And I've seen Hive talk about it, Ken's talked about it, and obviously I've talked about it on multiple streams about how we, and Sean as well, which is another reason why I reached out to him, because those are 3 individual people who I've watched on stream or talked to in person about their how they received the prequel trilogy, because all of us were adults when that came out. So we were kids for the original and adults for the prequel. And there's not many of us in the community, but of course, I just thought that would be a fantastic. And I even got a kind of test, or the title for the show, the working title for the show was, "Is Star Wars even good?" And I know, it sounds kind of dumb, because obviously I know it's good, but I think it was actually, is Star Wars even that good? the quote being on that, because I didn't want it to sound like I'm trolling or clickbaiting people by suggesting that Star Wars isn't actually good. But is it that good? So it's like, you know, is it because of the fandom or that kind of thing? And just talking about the films and how they received. And yeah, so I had this plan before Christmas, spoke to Ken, spoke to Sean, basically spoke to everybody that I mentioned. And there was a little bit of Sean, I don't think was available. Hive was up for it. Brent was up for it. Couldn't get hold of Tyler. Obviously, I know now why. Will was up for it, but not available. And I know Ken wasn't fully available. So it was kind of a little bit mishmash trying to hold down a date. And then, of course, we went into Christmas and I was far too busy. So we postponed it. So that is something I'm going to try and do at some point this year. Hopefully sooner rather than later. And any ideas, topics of conversation, guys, please let me know. Reach out to me. That's for you guys on the chat and for anybody watching on replay or in the live chat. Let me know what kind of thing you'd want to see. And of course, if I've made a connection with Ryan by then, potentially could be on that as well. But that's just something that I really want to kind of talk about. It just so happened, though, that after I'd sent those messages out, I realized afterwards that all of the people who were potentially going to be on the show were all show hosts. And I thought, well, that might actually be quite difficult to wrangle when you've got like all these people who are used to kind of, you know, doing what I'm doing now and just kind of overpowering and talking, you know, a lot, not giving anyone else a chance kind of thing. So that might be quite an interesting stream, both technically and, you know, content wise. But guys, reach out to me privately if there's, because I'd like to get this to happen. It might not necessarily be that lineup, but it is something I'd like to explore. I'm also thinking of doing, and this is funny I'm saying this because I know I've had a conversation with Nimble very recently saying how busy I am, but it is purely because of Christmas. So I'm also thinking of doing a regular show myself, and I'm going to call it Cool Hand Solo. Now, I don't know what... Great, isn't it? Great. I think of these fantastic...
That's a pretty good name.
I think of all these things, they're fantastic ideas, and most of them never come to fruition. But
and then life gets in the way.
Absolutely. But I've come out of the busiest time of the year for now, and the second busiest time of the year for me is summer. So I've got a long period of time now where things are going to kind of wind down. I'll have some free time. And if you guys remember last year, we had the 48-hour charity streamathon, which I also want to do again this year because I feel like I'd like to be able to do that every year. So there's a couple of things for 2026 on the agenda. And I'm kind of glad we didn't actually do the original screen thing because that is something I was quite passionate about talking about. But no, guys, look, there's some things coming up. I'm really struggling with the whole Cool Hand Solo thing. I want some ideas for it because I know what I'd like to do. The only problem is there's somebody out there that does something like that and kind of got the monopoly on that, aka Hive with pure rant fury, and I could fill a show with some of the frustrations I get, but I just don't want to do that because someone else already does it, and he does a fantastic job of it, and the last thing I want to do be is derivative of anything else out there. So yeah, but I'd love to be able to do like streams where I can do like, you know, just myself and, you know, build streams maybe or something else, chatting about something, but yeah, so just a couple of things for 2026 on the agenda. And that's me. But look, to get back to the Ryan thing and just to kind of finish off that, round off that conversation, yes, would be love to get him on the show sometime, but I would really like to have a show that we've really kind of, it's got some real juice to it. But I have also got a list of people who are on the list of potential what do you call it? Guests for the show this year, but we'll have to keep a lookout for that because I've had a lot of people reach out and say they'd like to be on the show, or I've reached out and they've said yes. Let me know when. So, but we are going to be toning down because at one point we were doing kind of 6 shows on a trot where there was a guest, and I think, you know, me and some of the guys have been chatting, and we're just going to try and ease it off a little bit and try and go back to every other week or something like that, and have a nice interactive show for you guys at home. On the weeks in between, and sometimes on both. So, but yeah, a little bit of a break from the whole polling and voting this week, but I do have some interesting things to show you. But I just want to kind of let these guys have something to say. And yeah, so Garrett, tell us about the stream on, was it Friday night or Saturday night? Friday night. Or Friday day for you, I guess, but Friday night for us.
I think it was Friday afternoon, but it was like, I don't know, like 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was good. I got the UCS Java sail barge like a month and a half ago, and I just haven't built it. And I was like, it's the holidays, I have free time, like I really need to start building this. And then I was like, I don't know, on my channel I've streamed a lot of my builds, but like this is like definitely one of those builds that's like a big deal because it's like, you know, the UCS set. And so like I was like, well, like I should probably turn on my live stream, because like part of me didn't really want to live stream, but I'm like, oh, you know, not very many people are gonna watch it or whatever. But I was like, well, like just for my channel in itself, it's like I should probably go live. And so I turned it on and it was good. I had, you know, like Brian and a few people. I'm trying to think of some of the other people that popped in. I think Lego Timmy popped in. I think that was kind of it. It was like really late in the UK, so none of the UK people got on, which is understandable.
You were, I didn't get to ask because obviously I was half asleep, but you were joined by a young lad as well. Is that a friend of yours or a relative or?
It was my my youngest brother.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, is there somebody else there? Because I only ever saw him when you kind of moved a little bit, because he was kind of in your profile.
He was kind of hiding behind me. But yeah, that's my youngest sibling. And
did you let him build?
He does build a lot of Lego. He has.
Did you let him build with you though, or was he? Watch?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, so like I built one bag and then I passed it to him and let him build a bag, and we were live for like an hour. So you didn't really miss that much. You missed maybe like 20 minutes of it, but it was fun.
I'd love to have a little brother that I can just pass Lego sets on to, and I can't be asked to build them.
That's what I did with the Razor Crest, because it's all just gray pieces, and I was like, "Hey, Merry Christmas! Do you want to build this?" And he was like, "Wow, yeah, let's build this." And I was like, "Yes."
Yeah, that's brilliant.
What? So this is something that I spoke to another of our guests previously in the year. It's kind of irrelevant who, but so you've got, I would say, quite reasonable number of followers or subscribers on your YouTube. Do you find that when you're not posting regular content or whatever, that some of them slip away?
It's interesting with my page because I have a lot of shorts uploaded on my page. So
is shorts the way forward, do you think?
I don't know now. I feel like the tides have kind of shifted, because it's like during COVID, that was kind of the thing. Like YouTube Shorts just came out. They're trying to compete with TikTok and Instagram. So like they were really pushing it. I haven't posted a short in a long time, so I don't know how it would do. So I can't give you an accurate like description of it, but I think shorts are still good, but you only have like 60 seconds to put on there what you want to put on there. And so like, that's why most of my shorts were like based around minifigures, because like people like minifigures and you can post something short and get it out. But I lost some followers. I think I was at like 1,730 subscribers. And then I'm like at I've lost like 10 or 15 subscribers because I haven't posted in a while. It's just, I've had a lot going on in my life, and so I've kind of put it off, and I was dealing with some mental health stuff, and I was just like, wasn't really feeling it. So I don't know. I kind of did a post and said like I'm taking a break, and then I said that I was back, and then I took another break, and so like I got to the point where I just like I'm not gonna keep saying I'm taking a break, don't expect anything from me, and then coming back and then taking another break, and so I kind of just like didn't post anything on there for a while. But
yeah, well, speaking of taking a break and coming back, Oaktown, see you in the chat. Sorry, mate, we had a bit of problem with the first stream. So I've sent you the new link, mate. Pop on if you're still free, as and when you're ready. But no, and this is why I think me and you tried to get like a kind of regular stream off the floor a little bit. And I know you got a lot going on, and obviously this time of year I probably would have been, postponing them myself anyway. And me and Nimble tried to do a little bit as well, but we were kind of, trying to get it off the ground. And even Liam, mentioned to him about it. He wants to start his channel, and look out, guys, because I know Liam is looking to try and potentially get guests on his channel, which he's kind of lifting off the ground at the moment. I've kind of helped him a little bit with that, but he's got his own ideas for the show, which is great because it's something I've not seen or heard about before, where he wants to talk about and focus on different aspects of the community that I haven't seen. But I know he's looking for people, so potentially reach out to him, or I don't know. I don't think the guy is shy necessarily, but I do think, it took me a while to realize how prepared, surprised by how prepared people were to come onto a show when it was kind of non-existent. I never had anybody say no or turn me down or ignore messages for the first year or so. And I was really surprised by that, because I was like, oh, is this person going to want to come on? It's like, hi, I wonder if you'd just like to come on to our little show. Yeah, fine. When? Where? And I was like, whoa. So I don't know whether he's in that stage at the moment, and I have kind of reassured him. But, it might be worth reaching out and saying, hey, look, if you want to do a stream or a build on your new show, then, yeah, give it a go, guys. And that goes for everybody. And I hope Liam doesn't mind me sort of, whoring him out like that. But I think if you're happy to do that kind of thing and jump on a stream, then it can't hurt for a new person starting up a channel. It can't hurt to have 10 or 12 people in the bag who are prepared to kind of jump on at some point, and that gives you a bit of a confidence boost then, even if you never call on them. So yeah, worth a go.
I think going back to what you were saying though about we're trying to get other stuff set up, and I know we've done a few Friday night streams, but I think with that sort of stuff, when we've got this show, which is bang on the money every Sunday, so like you said earlier on WhatsApp, never missed a show. So when you put that sort of commitment into something, it's hard to then replicate that again. So my theory on it would be, if you are planning on, wanting to do something else, I'd just take the pressure off yourself with it and just maybe do it as and when you can, because like you say, a lot of effort goes into the Sunday show. So then, it's easy enough for people who are sat on their arse all week, but I know you two especially, graft hard. So it's hard to put pressure on yourself, and it can stress you out, can't it? So
yeah,
for the sake of doing something that you want to get enjoyment out of, like an extra build stream or chat stream, there's no point putting pressure on it. So I'd just say it's more of a casual thing, and it's as and when.
No, I think you're right. I mean, I've always seen the power in consistency, and I think there is power in that, and I think that, obviously, but in terms of that measure between fun and creating something, creating a dynamic for people to connect to, there has got to be a balance. And as you'll know from tonight's stream, I'm fine now that I'm here, but sometimes getting over that, it's almost like that first day back at school or work after you've had some time off. It's, once you're there, once you're in work, and, you're in Nimble's case, you're, I don't know, whatever you're doing, putting up a bit of guttering or whatever it is he's doing. Or, Garrett, once he's, got a load of logs on, or when I'm fucking arguing with customers over a refund or whatever it might be. Once you're there and you're in it, you forget about that whole kind of stomach turn or whatever you had the night before, being like, oh, I gotta go back to work now, fucking hell, whatever. You get over it. And I think it's the same with this stream, because I know, like, I feel great now. And I know when I was saying to Nimble, like, I'm really struggling tonight with the stream, getting everything done that I wanted to get done. But I knew once I come on here, I'd be fine. And this is my kind of release, my fun, for me, part of the hobby, the excitement, just like building a Lego set is. And if I'm fortunate enough to do both at the same time, great. But this is it. This is the bit I'm most comfortable in terms of like winding down and stuff like that. But you have got that pressure of the beforehand. So for me, there's got to be a balance, because when it gets to the point, just like anything, just like drinking, gambling, anything like that, once it stops being fun and it starts being a chore, or it's taking its toll, then you need to be able to say enough is enough. So I think you're 100% right, and I don't want to put all of a sudden be like, right, I need a second show, which was never the case anyway, but certainly not to start with. But I do see the power in consistency as well. So it's difficult, but I would like to, for the sake of Garrett, and I know he's keen to stream and get the most out of StreamYard, and I know obviously me and you have had a couple of good streams, Nimble, where the chat has really enjoyed it. It's been more engaging sometimes than the regular show that's been going for like 2 years. So
yeah. Well, I did actually have a message off someone on Instagram asking like when we're doing the next Friday build stream, because they're really just fun to listen to, and I said it'll happen just as and when.
Yeah, and that's the thing for me though, is that again, I think it's just the kind of the analytical side of my brain which is saying that how much better would it be, and I say better, it wouldn't change our experience at all, but how much more successful would it be if we were doing it once a month, once a week, and people knew when to lock in. But like you're saying, how does the amount of people watching, how does the amount of people coming back every week, how does the amount of subscribers we get from it, how does that change our experience? And the answer is it doesn't, because it's exactly the same. If anything, it takes more pressure off if we just do it as and when. So again, it is a balance, and it's a fine balancing act between, do you go regularly and push yourself a little bit, or do you enjoy it more and it is what it is, and natural growth, So yeah, I think that's something I battle with every week, I'll be honest. So we'll see. But look, lots of things coming in 2026 from these three faces at least. So, but yeah, 48-hour stream. I mean, I think I'm in a better position this year than I was last year in terms of I've got way more connections in the community. I've got more people who are prepared to sort of help get it off the ground to keep it running. I don't know whether I'm going to be able to do it around about the same time, because I did it February-ish time last time. Might have to wait a little bit because I really need to do it when I've got a week off, so that I don't have like trying to go into work or whatever, or at least a weekend off.
We got Bricktastic in Feb as well, haven't we?
That's what I'm saying. So that's that week off gone. But even if I just had a long weekend off, the problem is that when I do have a rare weekend off, I've either got my daughter here with me or Kirsty's here. So ideally, it would be a time to do it. And again, I'm not streaming the whole time, so it's not like I've got to be there for the whole thing. But it is a community building event. I think it's great. And if we could get 48-hour, 1-hour shows out of it, or even 24 2-hour shows out of it, I think it would be cracking. So, again, it'd be interesting to see. I might put something onto Instagram or whatever, or maybe on the YouTube, and just see what people think. Is there a particular charity? Because I'm not aware of anything specific that's going on in the world that we can all connect to. I know there's European problems, I know there's American problems, but you're going to find it hard for, whereas the California fires, I kind of think, that kind of resounded around the world. So I don't know. What do you think, guys?
I like Fairy Bricks, but obviously it's a UK charity, isn't it? But it's sort of, I don't know, Bricktastic, all their money goes to Fairy Bricks. So, but it's, I don't know a great deal about them, but I know that they, they supply Lego sets for kids who are like in hospital for long periods of time. And I just think, it's something special, isn't it?
Well,
So,
I immediately think you've hit the nail on the head, because I was already going to reach out to Bricktastic. I know we've planned to get Ken, planning to get Greg on the show. Shout out to Greg. He's agreed to be on the show, London Bridge, because he's a big supporter and he's got to connect with Bricktastic now, which he's taken years to build up. But I was going to reach out to them and see how they feel about like a live broadcast. I know he's said that it's not like Brick World where there's like a specific area, so that and I don't think he does one from there. So for me to jump over that is probably not going to happen. But I would still be interested to see if they were happy with us doing a live stream, even if it wasn't, you know. But I think if we were to, you know, mention that as well and just say, look, we're thinking about doing a 48-hour charity stream. How would you feel about us using that charity, the same charity, or what can you tell us about that charity or something like that, maybe? But yeah, and I think you're right as well, because even though it's a British-based charity, most people in the US know what Bricktastic is, and obviously we can say that they also support that charity every year. But the fact that it's a Lego-based charity, I think, would help, you know, send that message out, regardless of where you are in the world. You know, yeah. I would be more willing to put a tenner, a couple of quid on a charity stream of anybody's, regardless of whether I knew them very well or not, if I knew that it was kind of, say, Lego based or, you know, that kind of thing, especially if it involves like children and stuff like that. So because it's closer to my heart, isn't it, for that reason? So
yeah.
So no, I think straight away, mate, you've hit the nail on the head, because I would never even consider that. So that's a good shout, really good shout.
But yeah, I don't think you can't go wrong with charities, can you? Whatever charity you pick, it's a charity and it's going to a good cause. So I don't think you can go wrong either way.
No, you're right. You're right. I'm not sure whether there's somebody arguing out in the back garden, or Kirsty's just watching the TV really loud, but I can hear two people screaming at each other.
It's not me and Garrett.
Yeah.
It's weird though, because like the windows by here lead out to the back garden. It's so quiet because it's like a closed estate community. So if you go out my back door and out my back garden into the back area, it's just the backs of everybody else. There's like a forecourt there and a car park for all the houses. So we got rear parking. So nobody's walking past there. Nobody's hanging around out there. I never hear a peep from this room of anything outside. So I'm assuming because you just got the TV on super loud. So
it's probably showing the sheep.
Yeah.
You've got a watch over there, isn't it?
Well, they'd be skating around at the moment, mate, because it's like sheet ice everywhere here. It snowed a couple of times. I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning because I fell asleep watching Big Fat Quiz of the Year. Do you ever watch that?
I know what it is, but I don't watch it.
We watch it every year, right? And it was actually, this is going to go completely off the point, but I think it's quite an interesting point. When we first used to watch it, me and Kirsty, and again, we've been together 13 years now, so I want to say we've been watching it every year. It's a UK British comedians kind of quiz show, and they have, you know, some celebrities that are known in the UK, and there's obviously 3 groups of 2. So if anyone hasn't seen it, and it's a fantastic quiz hosted by Jimmy Carr, who's obviously, you know, quite well known in the US as well, but funny guy. And yeah, they do this quiz, and we used to play along. We used to have a sheet of paper, and we used to do the questions as well. Like, and they always give stupid answers and then a proper answer, and we used to do that too. And I remember playing like the first time and like knowing, like, I don't know, some of the stuff that was going on or whatever. And then we watched it last night, and I literally knew nothing. I didn't have a clue what they were talking about with certain things. They mentioned the 6-7 thing, but I didn't really know what it was about or whatever as such. So I said to Kirsty, I think that's a good thing, because that just goes to show, because it's all based on, you know, news, stuff that's been going on in the, you know, not necessarily negative things, but, you know, things that have gone on, topical conversations, that kind of thing that have gone on throughout the year. And it covers the world. So it's like about President Trump, you know, being voted back in, all that kind of stuff. So, so I was, and I said to Kirsty, I think it's a good thing that we don't actually know anymore, and we couldn't do this quiz at all, or even get a few points, because it just goes to show how disconnected we are with media, the news, and everything that's going on in the world, because most of the time it's negative anyway. And I kind of like pride myself on not knowing about this crap. Like
getting old, mate.
Well, it is, but what I'm saying is generally as you get older, you connect with this stuff more. And I've made a conscious effort over the course of this year to stop using social media for news, updates, fake news, all that kind of stuff, and only use it for like content and looking at other people's content. And I think it's worked because I didn't have a clue at any of this stuff. All I look at in terms of, unless it's something I'm actually buying or interested in buying, that's not Lego related, that's all I see when I go on any social media is Lego, and that's the way I want it to be. I'm not seeing, my cousins had their ear pierced again, or, I don't know, a friend of mine that I used to know in school has got a new tattoo. I don't give a shit. Like,
there's stuff as you get, and I say get older, like I'm 28, so it's not like I'm the wisest man on the block, but as I'm getting older, there's less and less things I actually want to see. I'll only make an effort to look at the stuff I want to look at. Deleted Twitter because it's just shit on there that you're just like, why am I spending time looking at this? I've got my own personal Instagram away from the Lego one, and I don't even use it because it's like you said, there's people on there that I went to school with about 5-10 years ago who have got like a new dog or something, and I'm not arsed. And that's not me being miserable. That's just me growing up. And my circle is my circle for a reason.
Yeah. And it's good because like every now and then I'll go back onto my Facebook and I don't use it anymore. I'm sad that I don't get to connect with those couple of groups, the book group, the Star Wars book group and the Lego group that I'd connected with a lot. But there was just too many adverts, too much crap, too much abuse going on. And Facebook, you have to use Facebook to use them. And Facebook in general just kind of was awful. But the amount of time I go on then, the amount of like friend requests from like family and friends of family and people I might have had a conversation with once, or people who I work with, and I'm just like, I'm not going to start accepting them because then they're going to think that I use Facebook. I want them to be like, well, he doesn't use it, and then that's, I think, a viable reason. But I'm frustrated with how much I see adverts and how pissed off I get with adverts. But thankfully, the way that AI works to a larger degree is better because I only tend to get adverts for things I actually want. And I've made a point of going on Instagram now regularly and clearing my search history. So like, I had that pair of headphones after looking for a while and I was seeing an advert every other. And thankfully, that is how I ended up buying the headphones I wanted from targeted ads. Great. They worked and I got what I wanted, which I might not have gone if I just looked in one place, right?
Yeah.
But then I've got them then. I don't want to keep seeing adverts. So they don't know I've got them. So I have to physically go on and delete all those searches or anything that I've earmarked or liked. It takes some time, but then that's it. You don't see it anymore. And now it's like whatever else it might be. So I went on today and cleared a load of stuff from what I was browsing at for Christmas presents for Kirsty or for other people. So, and it is nice that you can do that. I mean, you're never going to stop adverts. But anyway, the point I was trying to make was I pride myself on not being kind of in it. And the only thing that I've missed, that I wish I'd kind of heard about sooner, especially because how much I like the song. It's my favorite Christmas song, and I don't know if we ever asked anybody this on the stream. "Driving Home for Christmas" by Chris Rea.
Yeah.
And the guy died a couple of days before Christmas.
Yeah.
I didn't even know about it until someone else told me, and they were like, "You like Chris Rea, don't you?" Like, "Did you really die?" I was like, "What? No, what? No." And yeah, "Driving Home for Christmas," and I always connected with that song just because it was so real. Obviously, I don't drive, so it kind of doesn't at all. But I connected with it because it reminded me of a lot where he's driving home and he's trying to get home for Christmas and he looks and he sees the driver next to him. He's in the same boat. And that was me because, I always work until God knows what time on Christmas Eve. And that last day you finish in work and you're trying to get home. And some of the stuff I've been through on Christmas Eve to get home from wherever I've been and snowed in and I might have to stay on a mate's sofa for the night because I can't get home for Christmas and all that kind of thing. And you just kind of connect. I connected with that song. So to hear that he died, and sad that he died then, because if he died a couple of days earlier, I know that sounds awful, but he might have been Christmas number one again, but obviously that was. So But then again, when people used to die, particularly celebrities, you used to see all these jokes about them that would emerge, and you're like, how have they come up with that? Like Michael Jackson died at like 2 p.m. and then by 3 p.m. social media was plastered in Michael Jackson jokes about his death and stuff. And I was just like, okay, some of them were okay, but it's just so wrong. And I don't see any of that anymore because I'm not in that mainstream social media thing where you're seeing all this shite that people are putting up. So in some way, shape or form, I feel like last year has been successful in terms of where I want to be with like connection to the outside world, because I'm more than happy to be insulated and have this community and these people and anybody connected to this community, and that's it. Nothing else. I don't need to connect with a guy I went to school with in 1984 and find out what tattoo he's just had. I don't care. I don't care.
Yeah.
And I was always one of those people, even when I had Facebook, when it was at its height, that I used to regularly go through and be like, I haven't connect, like, I don't know, I've got 100 friends. Let's get it down to 60 and just delete a bunch of idiots off there. Do you know what I mean? And none of them ever re-added me. So it's like, I don't care. But anyway, that's that rant over with. So let me just quickly explain to the people who are tuning in. Now we're at like, I don't know, 13 viewers. So the plan was for tonight, and this is effectively to next week's show, provided I don't have any other issues, is to have 2025 in review. And I get that it would have made more sense to have that now because it's the first stream of the year, and that obviously was the plan. Unfortunately, I was completely bogged down. I had a few people. There's a lurgy going around Llanelli at the moment, as you know, probably some of you guys have seen in your local towns or whatever. Sudden change of weather, everybody gets the sniffles, the flu, and colds and whatever. A couple of my guys were struck down after Christmas with illness, and it does tend to happen. If I'm honest, I can't complain. I've had the last 2 Christmases off from being hospitalized or being unwell or operation or whatever, but frustration was that we let our Christmas temporary staff go. We always finish their contracts on New Year's Eve, and then like from New Year's Day onwards, everybody starts going sick, and I'm like, ah. So I'm in a position where, as the manager, the responsibility ends with me. So if I can it just happened to be the 2 people were people who were key holders. This isn't interesting information, so I'll try and get as quickly through as possible. I ended up basically doing a double shift, which is like a 12-hour shift. The last 2 days, Friday and Saturday. And on top of that, at the moment, because of the weather and various other reasons, I've been not cycling to work. And it's a long way to walk in the cold when the weather's like it is. Not because I can't do it, but because then to do that and then do a 12-hour shift. So I've been getting a bus, but there's no bus that gets me home as late as I finish because my shop opens till late. So I'm leaving there at like 9 o'clock sometimes. So I have to walk home. And of course, both those nights have been like in here and across a lot of the UK, been really bad ice. Snow is one thing, but this is ice. And I'm talking sheet ice. Like you can't even see, apart from the odd glisten, which you can't see at all in the night. You don't know that the pavement is icy until you hit it. And of course, where I live is quite rural. So they do grit the main roads, but they can't go down all the side streets. And most of my walk home is side streets. So I'm literally like taking these kind of tiny little, and you don't realize how much extra energy you use walking like that so you don't slip. Like both days I've gotten home and my legs have been like jelly. It's like I've done like a couple of hours in the gym. And of course it's all uphill and then all downhill, my walk as well. So what is, Google says it's a 54-minute walk. I can do it in 35 minutes. If I've got nothing to stop for. It's taking me over an hour to walk home. And again, because of the ice, I always do my work prep for the stream if I have to, because I'm working, particularly if I'm doing a double shift like that. I would do it walking home. I'm banging out in a 40-minute walk home. I can do it, but I couldn't do that because I needed both my hands to keep myself balanced walking home. So it's like I daren't look at my phone. Even the times I did, I felt like my legs were going from underneath me. Anyway, all this sob story was to say that I didn't have any time to do any of the prep. I had something planned for the guys, as you might have seen in the description. So Garrett, Nimble, Whittakee, Slurpee, Oaktown all submitted to me a list of their favorite sets of 2026, their favorite Star Wars sets of 2025, sorry, what they're looking forward to in 2026 of what we know. Favorite non-Star Wars sets of 2025, highlights from the show, favorite show, that kind of thing. So I got a list from each of them. The idea is to throw up a slide with their kind of face in the corner, pictures of the sets they liked, and then a clip of the show that they're talking about, specifically if they picked out a particular clip. So, spoiler, one of the guys said the Whittakee's flaps was a highlight from the show over the year. So I wanted to clip that. And it was just, so my day today, I'm off today work, and I'm like, right, I'm going to spend the day prepping. This is going to be a great stream. And then all hell broke loose because my parents decided they would come in and I needed them to do a job for me, and they wanted to pick something up for me. And I just spent pretty much the whole day off doing stuff with them. And then by the time they came back to the house and we did them some food because we haven't really seen them over Christmas. So we did some food. And by the time we cleared all that up and they decided to leave, it was like, I don't know, 5:30. And I was just like, I can't do it, which is also why you didn't see any promotion on Instagram, because I just could not do it. So it's been a tough 3 or 4 days, unfortunately. So I just had to postpone it. Just made no sense to try and half-ass something. But I will get that sorted for next week. So episode 68.
Not everyone knows how StreamYard works. You should have just said we had so much planned. Everything was on that first StreamYard. Everything was set up ready. And then Whittakee decided, because he wasn't on the show, he didn't want anyone else to have fun, so he ruined it for everybody.
No, that's a good point. Well, to be honest with you, I was more explaining why I posted the original one saying postponed, because I just didn't like the idea, again, that kind of niggle inside of my brain, didn't like the idea of people coming along and being like, yeah, they're going to talk about 2025 in review, which I would. I do my own show. I don't watch many other shows, but that would be something that would capture my interest. And I hate this idea of being like, well, we're going to do that. We're going to do something else instead. Or I haven't had time to do that. So I wanted it to be for a reason. It isn't just because I couldn't be asked. I was too tired. It was, so I put that postpone through and set up the extra stream. So anybody who came along hoping to see that, I do apologize. I understand if you want to bugger off, but that is what we got coming up next week. So it's a spoiler for next week, if nothing else. And this week, we're just talking bollocks, but it is going to be a short show. So we're all going to kind of disappear at 9 o'clock. So we're only going to do the kind of 2 hours, but no, conscious, of that. And, want to know what you guys did for New Year's specifically.
What did I do? Well, me and my missus, we have a tradition for New Year's. We don't go out. We stay in. We always go to Marks and Spencer's for a treat dinner. Get the 2 pizzas, 2 sides deal. If you know, you know. And we always build Lego.
Really?
So I built the ATST, and what did she build?
Jealous.
She had, I can't even remember, a couple botanical sets, I think, and then I got her the deep microfighter Millennium Falcon with Chewbacca, because she loves Chewie. So yeah, we just sat in, watched Mandalorian, built Lego. Nothing major, but that's how I like it these days.
Did you stay up to midnight though, or?
I did. The missus didn't. I stayed up. I wanted to finish the ATST. So yeah, I stayed up not long after midnight, and I was absolutely balls deep in the Star Wars novel I was reading, The Ronin. I actually finished that, and I've not long started the next Star Wars novel I'm reading, which is it's called The Catalyst. So it's set before Rogue One. So it's got it's how Krennic was working for the Republic and stuff. And yeah, trying to get Gale.
That's the black cover, right, with the green writing.
Yeah, and it's really, really interesting. It's how they the Geonosians were had the plans for the Death Star originally, and how Krennic was trying to get them on side and stuff. It's really good. So yeah,
there's another novel I think that follows that, but it's still before Rogue One. I
right.
bought it for Kirsty. I can't remember off the top of my head what it's called, but it follows Jin and her story just before. Now, it's classed as a young adult novel, and a lot of people don't realize that a young adult novel isn't called a young adult novel necessarily because it's for young adults. Generally, it does speak to young adults, but it's always classed as a young adult novel, and it's different to a teen novel. A young adult novel is classed as a young adult novel if the main character or hero or whatever is a young adult. So the Ahsoka novel, because Ahsoka in there is, you know, like 18 or whatever, it's classed as a young adult novel, but it's no different to any of the Star Wars novel in terms of content and, you know, what's going on in there. And obviously I learned that from being a bookseller. But so a lot of people, people are asking me, oh, if you've got songs, and I said, oh, we've got a young adult book. Oh, no, I don't want a kid's book. And I'm like, no, it's the character is a young adult. That doesn't say anything about it's got nothing to do with what the story is or the content. You know, they're actually, some of them are actually quite either raunchy or violent. It's just that the character happens to be like, you know, a child effectively, or not a young adult, you know, so 16 to 18 kind of thing. So
yeah,
but like, so the Harry Potter's a class as young adult, and a class as young adult books. I mean, most kids do read them, but they're just because the main character, i.e. Harry Potter, is a young adult in the book. But no, you'd have to look it up. I'll have to ask Kirsty what it's called, because she's read it. She said it was fantastic, and I never got around to reading it. But it follows Catalyst and goes before Rogue One. And then there's another book as well that I've read that you need to read. It's one of the best Star Wars novels ever, and they've also made a Japanese graphic novel out of it.
Right.
And I say graphic novel, not your comic book style graphic novel, the actual books. And the difference between a Japanese graphic novel book and a normal one is that it's read backwards. I mean, not to them, it's forward to them. But so you start at the back cover and you read. And it's the title of it is different, but it's based on the same storyline as this book. So they've taken this book and broken it down into like 3 parts. So that is a fantastic book. So if you're looking for a next read, I'm trying to remember what it's called, because I've got it in the 3rd book in my Amazon basket.
Nice one. Yeah, you'll have to let me know. I did sort of know what I want to read next, but it would make sense to read that Jyn Erso one next. But I'm desperate to read the Sanctuary, which is it's like a Bad Batch novel.
Okay.
I love the Bad Batch, so I have that one in mind next. But I'm open. I didn't realise how many there were to read.
I think I own about 100 Star Wars novels. I've probably read less than 20 of them.
Yeah.
And I've got probably about 20% that actually exist. I think there's a couple of hundred, 400 or 500 in total. I'm just ballparking this. I don't actually know, but I know there's a lot I haven't got. I was because I'm a kind of pre-loved guy, as you know, when it comes to a novel, a book, yes, it's nice to get a new one, especially if it's released, you know, while you're buying. But in terms of older books, there's not like Lego sets. People don't keep them pristine, new, unread, to resell in the future.
Yeah.
Not many people do that with Lego, so you can imagine how many people are doing it with what people are doing with books. So when I say pre-loved, I'm not talking about it's knackered. It's just, you know, it's been read, and I don't care about that. You know, I think that's a fantastic. I went through this when I first got into Star Wars reading, which was around about the time I got back into Star Wars Lego, as it happens. So you're talking 2017, 2018. I went on this kind of huge mission to try and find some of the older books, and I was going to charity shops, and I was like, you know, one guy was like, I went to a charity shop in Swansea, which is near me, and I found they had a load of Star Wars books. If anybody wants to go, and I was like that, straight on a bus, got there, said to the woman, look, apparently you've got a load of Star Wars books. She brought out a massive pile. I bought a lot, some hardbacks. I was on a mission for ages, and they just started drying up. Yeah. And then I came across a guy on a group I was in. He was like, I'm selling my Star Wars book collection, and he must have had about 80 titles. And I was like, look, and he was like, I don't know, charging £4 or £5 a piece. And I just said to him, look, if I pick up a beast of a stack from you, what would you do them for? He said, look, if you take more than 30 off me, he said, I'll do them £2 a piece. And I was like, oh, postage as well? And he's like, yeah, go on and all in. So I picked up well, I must have been about 30 titles. It took me a while to pick out the ones, because he had like pages and 4 or 5 photos of all the different ones laid out. And obviously I had a lot of them. So I ended up getting like 30 titles. It might have even been 40. I can't remember, but I remember it was like for next to nothing. Well, not next to nothing, but it worked out about £2 a book, and then postage paid for as well, which would have been the hefty cost. Probably would have cost me more than the books did at that time. So, and that really kind of cemented my collection in terms of how many books I've got. But it's just like with Lego, mate. Great at buying it, great at collecting it.
Yeah.
Never read it or build it. But so the book I was talking about,
stream where you don't even read the title.
That's a good idea, actually. Maybe Cool Hand Solo reads. I mean, I do lots of talking anyway, so it'd be like Jack and Ori. So I'll just be here going, Lost Stars by Claudia Gray, and then start reading it. Do like an online audio book. And people can read along.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's the name of the book. It's Claudia Gray. It's Lost Stars. Fantastic book. The picture is just like a tiny Star Destroyer, I think. But the graphic novels look like this. I mean, these are obviously classed as young adult because these two, one is in the ends up joining the rebellion, the other one ends up joining the Empire. So from kids, they're friends and they stay friends even though they go in completely different directions. And some of the main characters like Leia and stuff pop up in this, but this is book 3, and I haven't actually bought 3 yet. But they read from back cover to front because they're classed as Japanese.
Right.
But and it's very similar to that kind of Japanese style you see on Star Wars Infinities. No, what's it called?
All right.
What's the animated show called? I've forgotten.
Visions,
that's it. But Claudia Gray does some fantastic books. I've read a couple of hers, and she's a fantastic Star Wars novelist. So I would definitely try and pick up anything by her, but specifically, I've met a couple of Star Wars writers. There's a guy who does Star Wars horror. Does any of the Star Wars horror stuff. I've met him, got his autograph in one of his books. Maybe I'll just maybe that can be the topic of the things. I won't necessarily read a book, but I could just talk a little bit about the books because I think, that's a completely different community now in some ways. But let me just show you the cover of this so you can keep a lookout for it. Star Wars. And the other reason I think it's important is because W.H. Smith's had this for reduced to £2,
right?
When it was like no longer new, and this is part of Disney era, so it's quite a few years old now. I think it's more than 10 years old, but 2015, and that's classed as young adult. But obviously, it's only because the main antagonists start off as children. But it's an adult story. Obviously, it's just as gruesome and as detailed as any other Star Wars book. So don't let that kind of undertitle put you off. But it's a fantastic book, and a friend of mine who was in the same book community as I was lives in Swansea. He was the one who tipped me off about this charity shop, and he said they've got it reduced in W. Smith for £2. And I was like, amazing. I said, did you buy one? He said, no, I've already got it. I'm just letting people know if they want to go and get one. So I went straight down to W.H. Smith, picked up a copy, put it through the till, scanned as 2p. So I went and got another copy. So I've actually got 2 copies. If I can find the other copy, you can have it, mate. And I'll give it to you. So it looks like that. That's the cover.
I think I saw someone talk about that on TikTok at some point.
It's a chunky boy, though. Not a chunky boy, but it's chunkier than your average paperback.
Yeah.
I would love to have got that on the hardback version, but you can see from the top, it's got that kind of, what do you want to call it? That banner head.
Yeah.
We kind of had we've had since the Disney era, that kind of banner head just above.
Yeah.
Tells you it's kind of a Disney era book. I mean, that's a Spanish version, but
yeah,
I'm just trying to. Rogue.
it's sort of a a bit of a telling tale for me that I've got to start growing up a bit, and reading a book is my way of telling myself that I'm growing up. It's never
Rebel Rising.
yeah.
In fact, Rebel Rising. So I actually own this, but obviously, Rebel Rising novel again, because I recognize books better by cover than I do title, just because of my job. But I'll just show you. So it looks like that. If you keep a lookout for it.
Okay, yeah, sound.
It's a fantastic book, apparently. Like I said, I haven't read it myself, but Kirsty's only probably, I think that's the only Star Wars book Kirsty's ever read. And she thought it was fantastic. We were selling it in my shop as rapid, so I think it went down to about £2-3. So I thought I'll get that for Kirsty as a Christmas present. She read it and thought it was great. So if you're into that, especially if you're a Rogue One type person, which Kirsty's a fan of Rogue One as well. So
that's my I think Rogue One and Andor is probably my favourite sort of era of Star Wars on the timeline. So I'm all for that.
So yeah, sorry to leave you hanging there for a bit, Garrett. What did you do for New Year's, mate?
It's all right. My dog's barking and it's loud, so I've been muted.
It was that long ago, like.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, my sleep schedule's a mess right now, so I'm trying to rethink through what happened. One of my friends texted me, and then I went over to his house for New Year's, and I don't know, I thought Stranger Things was supposed to be like in the theater, but apparently they released it in the theater and on Netflix at the same time. And so, like, when I got to his house, he was like, "Oh, I watched it already," because I was gonna wait and go to the movie theater like a couple of days later. But I didn't realize that you could just watch it on Netflix without going to the movie theater. So I pretty much immediately started watching it when I got there, and my two friends, they're doing like a tabletop game, and I don't know why, I can't remember what the name of it is, but you have like model tanks and you roll dice and you like move them around the table.
Oh, Warhammer.
Measure it. Kind of like Warhammer, yeah, but I think it's called something else. But they just specifically use like tanks. I can't remember.
Oh, okay.
They like build models of these tanks and like landscape and stuff like that, and they were playing that while I watched Stranger Things. And then midnight hit, and we said Happy New Year. And then I don't know, we had like SpongeBob SquarePants on in the background. I haven't watched SpongeBob SquarePants in like 15 years or something like that. So it was
there's
like
a new film as well, isn't there? Come out.
Yeah, I think there's a new movie coming out.
Yeah, isn't it? I think.
Yeah. But anyway, I haven't watched like the original SpongeBob TV show in like 15 years, so I was like having flashbacks to my childhood.
That's brilliant.
Yeah,
I
don't think
I've ever seen it. Kirsty keeps talking about like when you work on a till, or you know, if anybody who's worked in retail will know this, and you've got another job you want to try and do, and Kirsty said that it reminds her of that episode of SpongeBob where he's waiting for the bus, and I'm like, I don't know what you mean. So she showed it to me where he's like waiting at the bus and no bus comes. And then he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go across the road to the," like he's hungry, so he goes across the road to the vending machine, and the bus turns up and he misses it. He's like, "Fuck." And then it gets to the point, like there's loads of different shenanigans going on. Gets to the bit where he's trying to put a dollar bill or whatever it is into the machine, and every time he puts it in the machine, the bus pulls up, and then as he pulls it out, and that's what it's like, because you're waiting there and you're like, right, there's no customers anywhere in the other till at the moment. I'm going to quickly go across and do this checklist or this job or whatever it is. And obviously I don't do this as much as probably some of my staff, but I do see that frustration, or I've come through that frustration. and you kind of like, and you move away from it. No sooner do you get to what you're going to do and start the job, and next thing you know, there's somebody at the door. So you go running back, and then you're waiting and waiting. And, all right, nobody's coming, and I'm thinking, oh, I'll wait here just in case there's a crowd of people. And so it's a little bit like that, but that's my only experience with SpongeBob. I don't really know the lore or.
I don't know it all either. I've only seen bits and pieces of it, but it's so funny to watch.
I grew up watching it as well. And even now, I'm trying to get my little lad to like SpongeBob, because even as an adult, it's got like decent humor in it. It's stuff you happily sit through and watch.
Well, I got to recognize it, and I was trying to describe something the other day to a friend of mine, and I was saying about things like He-Man, an example. I was talking about He-Man and I love Thundercats and stuff like that. And he's like, oh yeah, those shows. He said they're so much better than the shows of these days. And I said, well, in some ways they are, in some ways they're not. I said, because look at SpongeBob. Right? I know nothing about SpongeBob, but it hasn't been on telly for years, and it's not even like older now. It's got to the point where it's old, like, you know, full grown adults watch. So it's been like, what is it, 20, maybe more than 20 years since it was on telly, or when it first came on telly.
I remember watching that when I was in primary school. So that's like before you're like 10, 11, isn't it? And so it's got close to 20 years, if not more than that.
That's what I'm saying. So I was saying to him, I was like, well, no, that's got resounding like qualities to it, because they're bringing a movie out now. And just look, we've got SpongeBob books, toys. We even got like, you can get a shopper, like a carrier bag, which has got SpongeBob on it, and people are buying it. And it's like, you know, and the majority of the people we're selling stuff to are either adults or kids. So obviously elderly people might not necessarily be buying it, but it's still there. It's cemented in law, even in the UK, to the point where it's not on telly anymore. And even before they made the movie, we were constantly getting stuff in, and people know what it is.
Yeah.
Whereas I was into like He-Man and Thundercats. You don't see any of that anymore. You don't see toys. No. Yes, you can get that stuff, but you've got to go in the right places. Like, you've got to, you know, if you're reading some comic books, they might still be releasing that stuff, and they do release these kind of expensive kind of display action figures of He-Man that you can get and stuff like that if you're looking in the right places. But that's more of a cult status thing, you know, like things like Tron and Ghostbusters and things like that, which have got cult status because they were really, really, really famous at the time, and over time they haven't been, but lots of people still connect to it, and therefore people know it as a household name for that. But that's a little bit different to still releasing merchandise for something that hasn't been on telly for decades. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And that's a they're completely two different realms for me. Harry Potter is another one. Okay, there's been lots of Harry Potter stuff coming out. You got, and take Lego away, because obviously Lego continues to do these licenses, but you know, with something like Harry Potter and Star Wars, you expect it because it's a big sprawling kind of media frenzy type thing. But it just has resounding quality over decades and decades, where people know what it is, even if they weren't around to watch it, don't know anything about it. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And like I said, SpongeBob's a perfect example for me, because I never watched it, didn't really know anything about it, still don't know anything about it, but I see the stuff all the time, and I know who the characters are, I recognize them. So yeah, it's just an interesting conversation I had with it was Pete, actually. Nimble, you know Pete.
Oh yeah, me good mate Pete.
Good old Pete. He's also, shout out to Pete if he's watching. He was also one of the people who phoned in sick. So yeah, thanks, Pete. I had to do a double. I had to do a 12-hour shift and walk home, like one step at a time. Well, obviously one step at a time, but very, very slowly on ice in the pitch black. Thanks, Pete. I hope you enjoyed your New Year's, mate. Good old Pete. Did I tell you that I played your voice message back?
Yeah.
We're out for the Christmas do.
Yeah.
And the irony of seeing, or the kind of inception of seeing them listening to your voice note, where I know you were saying, I can understand what that guy was saying, and everybody around the table is like, what the hell is this guy saying? So yeah, it's just crazy.
Another language, in it, our accents.
Yeah, and you familiarize it with people when you see their face. I think if I see your face and I see you talking, or I've seen you in person and I see you talking, that kind of lost in translation thing goes away. Yeah. But if you just hear some random voice of some person you've never heard of before, you're just like, it takes a while to kind of register. Like, what the fuck is that accent? What are they saying? So, but yeah, I'm going to call out the chat because I just realized that without Whittakee here, nobody's doing it. And then we have got one piece of New Year content, and I am going to share it, even though the New Year's episode is effectively next week, because for two reasons. One is because I don't know if I'll have time to do it next week. And two is because I was kind of a little bit gutted that we couldn't do anything New Year's related at all in terms of this Lego. And I saw something on Instagram from a guy who I follow, does some great stuff. And I just reached out to him and said, hey, this is a fantastic thing you've put together. Is it yours? And if it is, would you mind me sharing it on the show? And he immediately replied back, yes, it's mine. No problem sharing it. I really enjoyed the show. And I didn't even know he watched the show. So, or he or she watched the show. So shout out to them. We'll give them a shout out now when we pull up that content. They've done like a slideshow thing on Instagram. So some of you guys may have already seen it about like 2025 in numbers. So like how many figures were released, specifically Star Wars. What percentage was play sets, that kind of thing. So I thought it was quite interesting. So we'll show that off. And I did invite them to pop on the stream, but I think they're a kind of faceless profile. So
nice one.
I appreciate it's not for everybody to show their face. The name of the content creator is Wicked Wicket.
Oh, Wicked Wicket. Is that who it is?
I think that when they post, it comes up as that, but their name is because it's like you have two different ones, don't you? So
they're
anyway, look,
yeah, they've got really good content, haven't they?
Looks like this, guys. Go and give them a follow. I'm not sure if they've got a YouTube channel as well, but go and give them a follow. They do some great stuff, specifically Star Wars based, and we're going to go through a little slideshow they've put together in just a bit, but I'm going to call out the chat because I'm conscious of the fact that without Whittakee here, then I've been ignoring comments, and I do apologize to anybody who's put comments in the chat, and we will get to them right now. So let's do the Rhinestone Cowboy in typical Whittakee fashion. Okay, so where have we got to? So I did see you were doing a jigsaw puzzle there. I'll get to that in a sec because it looks like one that we sold in my store. It's in like a long box. Yeah, Traffle. We sell Traffle in my place, yeah. Hopefully you didn't pay more than £8 for it.
Can't remember. I think it's a Christmas present for the missus.
All right. So, good shout out here from Force Bricks coming in with some great ideas. Force Bricks, send me if you're still out there, send me a private message on Instagram with some of these ideas because they're great. It's really difficult to see these comments again after the show has ended. Maybe you guys can talk about the expanded universe and the Disney canon, how people think of them and how Disney is managing the canon. 100%. Yeah, sounds like a great thing. Look, if the show does well and we do manage to pull it together, it could potentially be a regular thing. Certainly not going to be weekly, maybe not even monthly, but we could do one every now and then and talk about subjects that aren't Lego, just Star Wars, which I think we could be missing out on. So, Mayonnaise is out there. How's it going, Mayo? Happy New Year. Nimble Build chat streams are pucker. Yeah, thanks for mentioning me in that, mate. But clearly, Nimble is the main character in those streams, so I'll take that. 48-hour stream. I'm doing a 24-hour live stream next weekend. Ooh, is that one where other people stream throughout that point, or is that just you? Because like I'm not in any way, shape, or form capable of doing like a long stint myself, but I'm more than happy to kind of lend it out. But yeah, if you need some support with that, mate, in any way, let me know. So Papa Rex in the house. Howdy Cool Hand Rangers. Howdy Cool Hangers. Christ. Mrs. Papa Trips out there. Wendy, how are we doing? Happy New Year. Wishing you all health and happiness in 2026. When I do a charity stream, I want to do something for mental health or cancer research. No, hats off to you, mate. Two fantastic charities or areas of, I don't know what you call it, areas of charity there. So charitable causes. For charity streams, engaging with the chat increases donations. 100%, mate. Yeah, look, it's new to me, but of course I'm not planning on physically doing that charity stream myself. I know you were part of it last year. It's more about everybody else kind of creating a kind of telethon type thing of different people and passing the baton on to each other. I don't think we did enough of that last time, but this time it's going to be very much like, right guys, now go over to so and pop in the link in the chat, that kind of thing. So Lego Team B, how are you doing, Lego Team B? Happy New Year. Fairy Bricks is a great charity and runs in Australia too. The UK team come to Australia at our brick convention in January, raising money for it also. Give me some information if you're still out there, Lego Team B. Private message me some information if you don't mind, because I would like to I'll turn this music down a little bit. I'd like to get into that a little bit more with you guys. So I'd be interested to see what other information you've got. I mean, I know I could probably Google stuff, but love to get into that. Our family built the $300 Christmas tree. Ugh, gross. Tree on. So was that class? No, I'm not going to give it away, but I'm pretty sure somebody close by had that as the worst set of the year, and I tempted to agree, but had the best time. Oh, look, well, if you enjoyed it, I know that is one of those sets where you can have multiple people building, which I think is a good thing by Lego. 6 adults building together made our 2025 Christmas one we will all remember. That's why we decided to get it. Oh, look, Wendy, I think that's a very reputable reason to buy that set. As overpriced as it was, obviously, it's not always about price. Sometimes, what you get from the set. If you're going to get $300 worth or $600 worth of fun out of a $300 set, then all power to you. And that's something I think we sometimes forget about when we talk about how expensive a set is. So, Lego Team B, I didn't know Fairy Bricks operated here now. Mav is out there. Mav, how we doing, my man? Happy New Year. What's up, boys? Hear about social media. Sarah's out there. Need to brave the -3 and walk the dog as he's refusing to go in the garden. Be back soon. You may already be back by now, Sarah, but hopefully you managed to do. And it's interesting to tell you guys as well that the UK is currently on, and I quote, a yellow snow warning. I thought that was hilarious. Frankly, I didn't see any yellow snow when I was out and about today, but there is a yellow snow warning in effect in the UK. So if you guys out there see any yellow snow in the UK, do not eat it. Bricks, that's how the meme economy works. Sorry, mate, these messages are so late that I have no clue what you're talking about at this point. But how do you all... General Tron, how we do, mate? Sorry that I'm a little bit behind with these messages. Same to Liam. How we doing, mate? Happy New Year to you guys. Mayo's got a top 5. Minifigure vending machine. Ooh, good shout. Duplo F1. Was there a Duplo F1? Okay. Arctic Train, Blacktron Renegade, Tudor Corner. Good shout.
There was. I bought it for my son for Christmas. It comes with like all the different cars that like I don't know what to say, like the paint schemes and the stickers and stuff for each different car. Like obviously they don't have the Red Bull logo because it's like 18+ logo, but a lot of the like McLaren logos and Ferrari logos and stuff are on the Duplo cars, and you can switch out the bodies with the cars, which is really cool.
That is cool. I have to touch on some of this stuff. So Ultra just picked up Catalyst. I'm not sure whether it's because you were talking about it, or it just so happens that he's also picked it up. But we got another Star Wars novel reader out there. So Ultra Bricks, keep a lookout for Cool Hand Solo. Reading the good book. No, just talk. I don't see why not. I've been thinking of what it could be, and I was thinking Lego, but apart from everything I'm already doing, what else is there? Why not do a...
It would be interesting to hear and just read, like, pick a Star Wars novel and just read it, like, or even a few chapters, and then you can sort of like engage with the chat and ask them what they think of it. And it is sort of like reading an audio book, and it's something you can listen to on replay as well.
Well, it is, but I think that if I'm speaking logistically, you know, I was thinking of making it a kind of 1 hour type thing. I don't know. I'm a slow reader. I'll tell you that, because my brain has always got 5,000 other things going on in it. And that's not supposed to be some kind of brag. In fact, the opposite. I'm so scatterbrained sometimes that I can't focus on just a book. So I'm kind of, read a paragraph. Did I turn the heating off? Read another paragraph. Oh, what have I got to do in the morning? Read another paragraph. And you know what I mean? I'm in and out of it. Like I can't fully engage. But, I'm not saying I can't, but I do struggle to. But I would like to do it like a book review type thing, or talking about a book.
Yeah.
To do a book club, because it's funny you say having this conversation is another reason. It's another reason why it's piqued my interest. Not just because there's a couple of people who have connected with that conversation, but because I spoke to my local library at one point about getting a room, because they give rooms out for free, especially if they're educational based, where I was going to try and get together, because this Star Wars book group I was in on Facebook just happened to be that there was a couple of people in there from my hometown, and it was a UK, worldwide based Facebook group. So that I was like, wow, small world. So I mentioned to a couple of them, look, if we did once a week got together and did a book club type thing, would you be up for it? And they were like, yeah, that'd be cool. And I just never got off the ground. But to do it, when you do a book club, you pick up a certain book and you read so many chapters, and you kind of, in some cases, depending on how fast you are reading, you would talk about the book after reading it. And then the next week you'd read something else, or you'd say to yourself, look, let's break this book down into 4 chunks, read to page 100. The following week you get together, and it's kind of like Alcoholics Anonymous or something. You come or you don't come, but the idea being is that you can chat about the chapters you've read or whatever. And I don't know. It was all just, again, grandiose thoughts I had, and just never come off the page. But I just don't know whether that would work on a stream platform. I don't know anyone else who's doing something like that, but certainly not with Star Wars books. So it could be worth a try. The worst that's going to happen is no one turns up, everyone thinks it's shit, and it doesn't work. There's no skin off my teeth. But I think my biggest issue, and also the thing I would be the best part about it, would be that commitment to read so much of the book, or the book in general. So I think I would definitely have to start out the first couple of episodes talking about books I've already read and just kind of reviewing them, but in a live format. And then slowly kind of work my way through another book and be like, right, I've read this or whatever, and then try and get people in the chat to pick up the book, read along, and engage with it. I don't know. Again, sounds great talking about it, but what's it going to look like? I don't know. Garrett is just taking on the persona of the typical American sort of teenager, just kind of loafing out there with his hand in a box of Cheez-Its.
You're covering all the stereotypes there, guys.
I know. You just don't see it in this country, because we don't get like snacks like that in a box, apart from maybe cereal. And we don't have Cheez-Its here either. So, yeah, that's like something out of a movie, that scene right there for me.
I'm famous now.
Anyway, a few more comments in the chat.
I haven't eaten yet today, so I was hungry.
Yeah, all I've eaten today really is cheese. Getting some stuff done on studio. Not sure what he means. Oh, studio, right? Okay, in brick link.
Wolfman also asked to where Whittakee and Slurpee are.
Look, yeah, it's the golden question, isn't it?
Who's that? Who's asking that? Sorry.
Oaktown is like the second newest comment, and then Slurpee commented underneath of him.
Slurpee.
All right, so I'm looking for new commenters now, because you guys look like you're talking to each other. So I apologize if I miss a comment where you're not talking to each other. But SpongeBob episode, and I gotta say, I know a lot of streamers say this or make reference to this, but it really warms my heart when I see people engaging with each other in the chat. I don't know what it is about it. It's just something like kind of nourishing for me to see that. I like it. especially because that's how I started, by engaging with some of these guys in chat, in other people's chats. So it's always kind of heartwarming. So I love seeing that. So appreciate that, guys, and keep it coming. Liam's not feeling too good. Liam, you didn't eat the yellow snow, did you?
What's up, Liam?
I don't know. I just seen someone. That's the second time I've seen someone say, "I hope you're well soon, Liam." And but I can't see a comment saying that he's not well. So I don't know where they're getting that from. I must have missed one, so I do apologize. Daniel's out there. Hi, full bricks. The Irish brother up there, a Celtic brother. Good to see you all. Happy New Year. He's one of the my favorite Irish people in this community. Might be my favorite. Actually. Is there anybody else? Is there any other Irish people in the local community?
Yeah, you need to go on the naughty step, mate.
I'm so sorry.
You're on the naughty list for next year.
We made a joke, mate, earlier that your first comment of the 2026 Cool Hang show was "oops," and I said, "Well, actually, it's also going to be his last comment of the 2026 because he's now got a 20-episode ban." But then you can always let yourself in, so that's not going to work.
But also, I'm the third person to do it. You've done it, and
did I do it before? But did I do it? Now Slurpee did it 3/4 of the way through a show. Yeah. I did it right at the end of a show.
Yeah, all right.
But you had to go one better and do it right at the start of the show.
I was in the middle of doing the show. I was quite, excited. We're doing the show, and normally it says leave, so I pressed it, and I realised it was no. It said end. And I went, oops.
Yeah, well, mate, you got to go back and read the live comments, both in the other stream, the one you actually left, and the comments that mercilessly destroyed you in this one at the beginning. So go back to the live comments and check them out, mate.
Well, I do apologise. It wasn't on purpose.
No, we know that, mate.
We know.
The comments, so people were saying, like, these. What was this? Somebody said there was a standout comment where somebody was like, "We made fun of you" or something. We said, "We don't even really like him." He's like, "Right, I don't like you either." Oh, something like that. But
I'm looking back now, I can't. So I can just see lots about fairy bricks and.
Oh, right at the start, mate. Right to the start.
Yeah, I've gone right to the top.
Are you looking on YouTube? Because if you look on YouTube, it'll never take you to the top. You have to look on StreamYard.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm on StreamYard. Yeah, I'm on StreamYard. Looking.
Oh, right. Oh, you should be able to see him then.
They might come later. Let me see him.
I'm going to look at it myself now.
Unless I just missed him.
We're behind you. Oh, no, you're not. End stream.
Yeah, I can't see those.
Are we back? We heard the "oh no," and then it went. And then it's that was
actually heard the, "oh no." Then I was like,
yeah,
I was like, "oh no."
Brick Dynasty said, "I'm taking you all down with me." Jedi Master Brick said, "Oh no, I fucked up." Oh no, he isn't. The show must go on. I gotta get out of here.
No, the show must go on. No, it didn't.
Should I say hi now or should I wait for part 3? Bless him, he's never living that down. You absolutely need to change his screen name to "oh no" end stream. Yeah, mate, they went for you.
What's that? Is that why Whittakee isn't here? Yellow snow incident. What?
Cool Hang Chaos streams featuring Trigger Happy Whittakee. Oh Christ!
Do you know what? I was always trying to think that I haven't done that yet. Oh, but that's nice. There you go from Mayo. Thank you. I hope Whittakee is okay. Yes, I am. Thank you.
Yeah, we were talking just before you came on about the UK is on an official yellow snow warning, and I just found that quite funny.
Oh.
So, and we were just talking about, guys, if you're out there in the UK, be careful. Do not eat the yellow snow.
No.
And that's what I think somehow they were deduced from that the reason you weren't here is because you'd eaten some yellow snow. So I don't know what's going on, but g'day. I love to read. I'm actually still calling out the chat with Key, believe it or not.
Yeah.
This is the shitter job I'm doing of it. I engage in a conversation for every comment. I love to read. Before my surgery, I got into audiobooks, really still there, but now the Kindle is back in my bag wherever I go. Awesome.
Nice.
Would you be interested in a Jack and Ori Star Wars book stream? Sarah. Let me know. I know Ultra potentially on board. So what is up, gang? I heard Whiskey ended the stream early. Yeah, very early, mate. I think the new the competition for 2026 now is who can end it the earliest. Next week I might do it.
I got left out. I
seconds.
thought, yeah, I haven't done it. So it's your turn, Nimble, next.
As soon as I have the admin powers, I'm fucking shit up.
Well, actually, Garrett should be next because he has actually got the ability to end the stream. So,
Yeah,
the night is
all I
young.
can say is
and
that I felt
so
bloody awful. That's why I left. I was like, and everyone they were doing the same as me as you lot. They were going, "Oh, you've ended the stream!" Oh,
Wait, what is everybody in the cast Welsh?
no, why?
All right, because you just went, "Oh, you've ended the stream."
Oh, I didn't know I went a bit Welsh then. Sorry.
Oh, Steve, you're doing it too long, mate. I thought you were going to be gone for hours.
One of the girls, the one who plays the princess, she's Welsh.
Ah, there you go. So that's where you learn from, man. Don't get it from my fucking abhorrent slang. So yeah, guys, I apparently there was a comment asking where. Oh, there it is. There it is. Sorry, it's right above it. So I won't say why Slurpy's not here because not because it's like super private, but it's his news to share if he just so wishes. So we might find out about that in the fullness of time. But Whittakee wasn't here because he embarrassed himself and wasn't welcome back. No, you were doing did you say a double show tonight?
Well, it was a double dress rehearsal. So I do amateur dramatics, as a lot of people know. And it was a double dress rehearsal today, and then the show is on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 2 shows on a Saturday, and then Sunday. So busy.
And he did a call it. He did a call in live from the dressing room.
Yeah,
but if you want to see that call in live, you have to go and check out the other stream,
the little mini one. Yeah, because unfortunately I was a bit excited, and when I pressed leave, I didn't. I pressed end. Whoops!
Yeah, if you'd cut her off a bit sooner, I could have used her as a short for some more content.
It's great because
I clicked it and I thought, and I went, oh no, and then it came up again. I thought, oh good, I got away with it, and it's like, no, I haven't.
What did you say, Nimble?
Well, when we're doing the when in 2027, when we're talking about the best moments of 2026, it will literally be the first stream we've done.
Yeah.
So you've set the bar up here now, Whiskey.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch it.
Whittakee is doing a stage show tonight. Stream Terminator.
Yeah, I
Terminator.
put that up earlier.
It's Terminator, but
yeah.
You ended the stream, so no one else could hear, but we, like us three, could hear you go, "Oh no!" Just quickly end.
No, I think they did hear it. I think
they stay in there to say, "Oh shit, sorry lads." You were like, "Oh no!"
That's what we said.
You like
didn't even apologize. Didn't even hang around to apologize.
I panicked. I was like, "Where's the leave button? Leave!" before they have a go at me.
I think they did. Hear it because a couple of the comments were saying, "Oh no," before we'd mentioned it. So
I heard it.
Yeah, Paddy said we heard it. We heard oh no.
Brilliant.
Well, I think he's actually true. That was the funniest moment on streams this year.
Well, it's only a couple of days.
Specifically our streams. But,
I have to go back and watch that definitely on on replay.
Anyway, that's me calling out the chat for 45 minutes. And yeah.
That's I'm gonna have to
we're about to end the show and we haven't even barely started it, but there we go. Such is life. No, Nimble, thanks, mate. I do appreciate your time. Did you manage to finish the jigsaw?
Did I fuck? I am I don't know.
Corner pieces first, mate.
Yeah.
Oh, it looked like it's worse than it started with.
It's I'm not a jigsaw doer. It's more the missus' thing, so I'm just sort of plugging away at it. I've got about 20 pieces on there tonight, so
20 pieces? You were doing it for nearly 2 hours.
He wants to start a puzzle.
I could have done it backwards. I could have done it back to front in that amount of time.
He's got to catch up.
Well, you know.
He's done a whole sale badge.
Well, Martin, it's more pieces that you do on your build streams, mate.
Oh, dang.
It's more pieces than I've done this year, I think.
Yeah. But
not this year, sorry, last year.
Lads, Happy New Year. Garrett, it's great
Happy
to
New Year, mate.
with you as well, mate. Hopefully get to catch you again soon.
Yeah, it's great to see you.
And yeah, Martin. Ta-ra.
Double
Ta-ra.
bubble Martin.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, mate.
Ta-ra.
Yeah, so I was just explaining. I don't know whether I got a chance to really say it to you, Nimble, but I was just explaining to the guys why I couldn't put together. I'm not going to go over it again, but couldn't put together the show that we wanted to do. But we are going to do that hopefully for next week, unless something else shitty happens to me. But so I've got that information. I will. I just didn't want to half-ass it.
So
and of course,
I actually gave you the information.
No, I know. Look, it was just because, yeah, it is what it is. Like I could have probably squeezed something together, but I just thought I had a vision. I have these visions of what I want it to look like, and I'm one of these people who is like, I'd rather not even start something than start it and not finish it, or start and do a shitty job. So yeah. Maybe we just need to get him a 20-piece jigsaw and see how he gets on with that. I mean, I tried phoning the Guinness Book of Records once because I did a jigsaw in it took me about 3 months, and the box said 3 to 6 years. So, I was really impressed with that.
That's terrible. That's like a pantomime joke.
So I'm going to share a little bit of because I'm a sado, and I always complain about I don't have any free time, and yet somehow I managed to find completely useless information. But I was just interested in and I've only been interested in this throughout this year because of the timelines, and I've connected with timelines more because of having friends like, Garrett and other people around the world, and we did talk a little bit about timelines earlier on. So I was just interested in how timelines work when it comes to New Year. And this is where I discovered, right? So there's 24 different timelines across the world, which obviously makes sense. And the person who celebrates New Year first also happens to be this part of the same country that celebrates the New Year last, because the way the timeline's done. In fact, the first land masses to celebrate the New Year are actually a group of islands, one called like Banana Island and things like that. But it's only birds that live on them. So that timeline is completely kind of null and void. But Samoa. So you've got American Samoa, which is owned by America, and then you've got mainland Samoa, right? And I think there's I want to say 70 kilometers between the two islands, between the two groups of islands. And American Samoa actually celebrate New Year last. They're the last timeline to do it. But mainland Samoa, which is kind of, if anybody's not great with geography, if you go from Australia, if you're looking at the map, you go from Australia and take a right and go up slightly, that Samoan Islands are kind of there. And American Samoa, which is partly owned by the US for whatever reason. If you've ever seen that film, Michael Fassbender, where he's trying to integrate a football team out of American Samoa. Great film. So they celebrate a full 24 hours later. So what that actually means is if you're in American Samoa, you can full 24 hours before. So it's like midnight on New Year's Eve. Sorry, midnight on the day before New Year's Eve on the 30th. So, a day like the night before
31st.
New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
You can look over to the mainland Samoa and see fireworks and celebrations going off for New Year. And then a full day later, so the people on mainland Samoa can look across the sea and see American Samoa celebrating New Year's Eve, fireworks going off, whatever, a full day later. It's absolutely bizarre.
How many hours does it take to go from mainland Samoa to America?
It's a short boat ride.
So you could go on a 24-hour bender, couldn't you?
You could.
Well, yeah. That's the point they make as well.
That's weird. It's only a couple of hours
Samoa,
but it's 24. I don't get that.
Well, because obviously the globe is a globe, right? So it's got to end somewhere and begin somewhere, if that makes sense. So there's got to be a time where it's like right now that's a following day. So what a lot of Samoans do is they'll celebrate in New Year, and then American Samoans will boat across, celebrate New Year there, go back across, or vice versa. And celebrate again and just do 2 full days of, like you said, a bender. And it's actually traditional quite a big tradition there. So if we got anybody out there watching from American Samoa or Samoa, please reach out to me because
So
I'd like to know.
Technically,
about this.
they can. If you went over and did that as well, you could have 2 Christmas days.
Well, yeah, you could do 2 of anything.
You
Yeah.
can do a lot.
2 birthdays.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's this the Bering Sea as well. I think right at the top, further up, like sort of where America meets Asia. There's a very similar kind of situation where, when the tide is completely out, you can actually walk across the timelines and basically be behind a full day. It's a little bit more confusing there because the 2 islands are, I think one's inhospitable or something like that. But there's like a narrow thing between the 2 where, you can literally go from here and effectively go back in time. Travel across,
technically time traveling.
Yeah, well, essentially, yeah, because you could say, look, I've had Christmas Day here, and then go across the ocean, and then be there ready for another Christmas Day or whatever it might be. So
you learn lots of things on this show, not just Lego.
I think I gotta, if I really want to make the most out of my Christmas, since I only get 2 days off, maybe that's where I need to live in Samoa. At least then I'll get more than one day off.
A bit late, but did you both have a nice New Year though?
We did, or I did. Anyway.
Yeah,
it's quiet. I just sat. I opened up the window about 5 to 12, watched all the fireworks, and then by half 12 went to bed.
Did you see this thing though about fireworks and like in London and stuff where because some guy did a realistic review because Kirsty talked about going to London and I said, why? What for?
Yeah,
because everybody thinks about how good it looks and looking at it and all the rest of it, and I'm like, most of what you see on the TV in London is for TV. So if you're there, you're not going to get that same experience. Okay, there'll be experiences you get from being there that you won't get from TV naturally, but it's set up for TV. And this guy's doing this full review where he was saying it used to be free and travel used to be free around London, inner city London at that point, because obviously there's no main line operating and those trains are operating anyway, but normally there'd be nobody on them, so it's not like they're losing a whole lot of money and the trains are running anyway, because in London there's like place in America, I would say like New York, but this the city that never sleeps actually shuts down at like 11 o'clock.
Yeah,
believe it or not. But in London it's these trains are going all night anyway, so it all used to be free and they used to be able to get there, used to go in. But of course now they've changed it. Now it's like the mayor's fire New Year's celebration. So this guy, I think he paid like, I think it was 45 quid or something like that. No, it was more than that. I think it was like 145 quid for the green zone. And he was right behind the London Eye. And they pen you in. The latest you can get there is 10:30, a full hour and a half before the fireworks start or whatever. All the music and everything you hear on the TV and all the kind of things, you don't see any of that. The pyrotechnics and everything, you can't see any of that unless you're in certain places. And obviously you pay more for. But he said, you're penned in. There's like limited amount of portaloos. There's only one food place in each of these pens. And he said it was like £20 for just a burger. Just a burger on it. No chips or nothing with it. And you spend the whole time just waiting. You stand there. There's nothing to sit on. There's nothing to lean on. So you end up just sitting on the cold floor. And then obviously the fireworks start and you can see them because of course they're up in the air. I mean, you can pretty much see them from anywhere. But there's no like festivity like you would see on the telly.
Yeah.
And then he said, and then it ends. And of course, then you've got millions of people in the city centre.
I'm trying to get
all trying to get home at the same time. Whereas, they've breezed in throughout the day. And, a lot of people have spent the day in London and then, got to their position in time. But afterwards, everyone wants to bugger off home. And that you can't get on a train, you can't get on a bus, you can't move, all the streets are penned off. And it takes hours and hours. Even if you're living in inner city London, it takes you hours and hours and hours to get home. And he said it's the biggest piece of shit he's ever, like, don't do it. Waste of complete time. When you're penned in as well, he said if you're an anxious person and you can't really move, especially when the fireworks start, and it's like, yeah, it
must be horrible. Yeah.
And he said, do not do it. Do not do it. Because, obviously it would improve by paying more, but the amount you're paying for what you're getting is just crap. So, and I said to Kirsty, I showed her the video and I was like, nobody thinks about the logistics of how you're getting there, how you're getting home, where you're going to use the toilet, where are you going to eat, what are you going to sit on. And this time of year, and I was just quite surprised that so many people still do it every year. It's just ridiculous. It's like one of those things. It's like Lego day one releases. If you really want something to change, if we really want those prices to go down and not have to say, oh, the sets are overpriced. Here I am in the queue on New Year's Day. The sets are all overpriced. I've come out with 2 bags of overpriced sets. Like, you're causing the problem. You are causing the problem.
No. That's only if they got good DWP.
Well, yeah, okay. There are obviously
that's why I do it.
That's a fleeting comment because it is what it is.
Well,
I've
my
never
son
done
did it
New
once,
Year's Day.
Martin. He went once and he said, Dad, it was interesting. He said, but I wouldn't do it. He said, I'm glad I went, but he said I would never do it again.
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying. And it's like these people who are going and buying into this are what's like if everybody just suddenly was like, no, we ain't doing it. The power of social media, somebody should be using a platform for something like that and saying, next year, nobody go. And the city would be like, oh my God, right, next year, let's go back to making it free. We need people to come. We need to, boost the economy or whatever. That's the only way anything's going to happen. Yeah. And otherwise, you're going to have thousands of people turning up to it every year and thousands of people complaining that it's crap and the same 1,000 people going back the following year. And you're like,
I mean, I wouldn't even go down to Bristol city centre, alone London, and I'm quite lucky because I live quite a sort of up high anyway, and I'm also on a second floor flat or first floor, so I can literally see out my window right across Bristol, and I can just sit there and watch so many different displays going off. So it's quite nice, and then just
whereabouts?
Then go to bed.
Whereabouts in Bristol are you? What area? I know you told me before. I've forgotten.
It's a place called St George.
So I kind of know Bristol relatively well, but I'm not like you couldn't just dump me there and I find my way out. But I have explored and spent time in a lot of different places. So where would it be? What's the place called? That's just the grass in the middle of 2 main roads. Clifton. It's a Clifton, the Clifton with suspension bridges, and then you've got that area up there with some massive fields.
Right. So that's. Oh, I can see the suspension bridge from where I live, but it's quite a way.
Right. Because that's elevated, that area, isn't it? So
yeah. So and obviously, I mean, what was it? I think they said it would have to get like the water. If we ever got Bristol flooded, it would never get to us because we're quite high up. But yeah, so that's it's. Do you mean like the Downs? Don't you? All the greenery stuff up there by the
Clifton Downs. That's it.
Yeah,
Clifton Downs.
So
I'm talking
about. I
do
live the other side of Bristol from that. Really, if you think, right. It is. It's the other side.
Because I know like St Paul's, or they used to call it the White Line, and for sort of reasons that
getting away from St Paul's, but that side, So
Horside, and obviously most of the city in the that kind of area. There used to be a place where the kind of student area is, and I'm talking because it's two unions. It's two universities in Bristol in there. So you got University of the West of England and Bristol University. So UWE, as they called it. I was obviously seeing a girl who was in UWE, so she was in like a rented place. It was like a little village. I can't remember the name of the area, but there was like,
is it Frenchy?
The Frenchy campus, it was near the Frenchy campus,
Little
but I just remember there was Pat. Right, so I'd get off at Bristol Temple Meads, but I could also get off at Bristol Parkway, which is closer, and I could actually walk there from Parkway.
Yeah, the Parkway would be closer to it, yes.
So you come up and you go past the Ministry of Defence building.
Yeah,
and then what used to be the Big W when Woolworths went to the Big W, that building. Do you remember that? And then you'd come up and you'd go like over a hill and then down and you pass like a little kind of area. There was like a Bar Oz, a Summerfield, a Blockbuster Video, and a kind of little kind of community sort of area there. And she lived in a street behind that.
Right.
That was the area I used to know. It was a fantastic chip shop just around the corner from her as well. And a massive guy. Huge guy.
I think if you go going down, you get to Bristol, what was it, Aerospace and all that, and Rolls Royce.
Yeah. If you follow down that main road, you'd go like to Bristol Baths, which was still open at the time. The swimming pool, indoor swimming pool, and then eventually you get to the city centre. And it was quite a nice walk down there. But yeah, she was in that kind of area. And I remember there was a bar there called Bar Oz, and it was a fantastic bar. But over the course of time, it's probably changed.
I bet Nimble's glad he come off because he says, "Well, Bristol's a shithole."
Yeah, it's
all about Bristol. That's enough about Bristol then.
That's where I first saw a Banksy as well.
Yeah, but oh yeah, of course he comes. But I will say, if anyone is around Bristol next week, please come along to the pantomime.
Mm.
The
See,
chip,
I
so
think
the
you
chip
and
place.
your family, Martin, nice trip. Come over. Yeah.
No, I wish I had the time, mate. Sorry, Gary. What are you trying to say, mate?
Oh,
So the chip place is like Dexter's Diner. It's got the big guy that serves the food.
Yeah, Obi-Wan. It depends on how good your manners are and how big your pocketbook is.
mate, that's just so spot on. I love when you do that.
That's pretty
yeah.
accurate. Patty was asking me if there's any displays near me. Not that I'm really aware of. I mean, there was people that set off fireworks, but I don't think there's like, I don't think the city itself sets off like a firework display. Like I don't know, like Portland might or like Seattle might, but I don't know. Usually 4th of July is a bigger deal here than
Yeah,
like.
You know what? I thought she meant Lego displays then for a second. Right.
No, I knew what you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to ask you actually, Gareth, because you still have. I'm going to keep it clean. Do you still have your bird?
It's complicated. I don't have it
was
with
just
me.
gonna
I
ask,
don't
'cause
have
we
it.
all-
I don't have
we
it
all
with me anymore. It's.
Oh right,
I think
'Cause
it's
we all get
alive
concerned
still.
about cats and dogs when fireworks go off, and I just wondered how he reacted.
Well,
or she.
he's staying with he stays with his parents at the moment, and that's
right.
his house.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
the animals do get scared of like fireworks usually. Oh, the other thing I wanted to mention is I was just on my phone and Lego is announcing that they are adding a new dimension of play to their catalog and they're announcing it tomorrow on January 5th. I think it's supposed to be the new sound brick. Sean from a couple of Brickheads was mentioning that they're going to debut it at a big. Excuse me. There's like a technology convention that they do down in Nevada, and like Sony's gonna be there and partnered with Lego, and it's supposed to be a big deal, but I think they're announcing their new sound brick. And they're saying that it's adding like a different dimension of play to Lego because like it sounds like the actual minifigure is talking and interacting with you and the Lego set.
Yeah, I'd be interested to know if are they going to use like the character's voice from like, so for example, the Luke Skywalker one, will it be like Mark Hamill's voice? Is that what we're talking
I don't
about?
know. I don't know if they put the time and money into getting the actual characters.
Would they have to pay them money or something to get their voices,
or maybe they got the original sound files from Lucasfilms, which would be a lot easier than paying the actor to re-record it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I'm looking. I mean, because I know we're not doing it now, but you said about certain sets you're looking forward to, and I did put down the Thai Advance. Not that I'm so looking for. I'm interested. I wanted to see what, because that's one we don't know, and I've not got a Thai Advance, so I'd love to get one. So I am interested to see what it's going to look like. Hopefully, not like the version of the X-wing. But yeah. So I am, and I'm not really worried about the brick. I just want a Thai Advance, so I just hopefully it looks good.
I hope that the size of it is good. I don't want it to be small. Like I really liked the
it's gonna be though, isn't it?
The TIE fighter they did from the Mandalorian show. I don't know why I can't remember what it's called, but it's the one with the 4 wings on it, and that one's proportions were really good and accurate.
It's bound to be smaller. I mean, I've noticed it in all because the other day, quite a long time ago, I built for my son. Well, I built it and I took it apart and let him build it. It's one of the Harry Potter buses. Yeah, it was retired. I managed to find it in a hospital thing. Yeah, the night bus. I've recently built the new one for the little kid that I work with. Oh my god, it is so much more tinier, and you can't open the side. You can't get your hands in. It's just, honestly, they need to sort themselves out.
Yeah.
As in the words of Kyler, make Lego big again, but at least so you can get your fingers in there. And
I think
it's supposed to be a toy, so it's like, it's And it's just so much compared to the one that was out, I don't know, probably 5-6 years ago. It's just tiny.
I think they're just trying to keep the price down, but I don't know. I still think that they are making such a high percentage.
But they don't even include the shrunken head in it. I mean, that's
yeah. I mean, I know cost of manufacturing has gone up, but like I still think they're making hand over fist like what it costs to make a Lego set versus what they're selling it for. They're still making probably 200% on what it costs to make the set. And so it's like, why can't they eat some of the costs and keep the set the same size, have more minifigures, and then not charge us another $80 for a set? But yeah, Liam bricked the bed. I don't have my coffee anymore. I lost it.
Right. It's all gone quiet.
Sorry, mate. I'm just trying to log into Instagram. I'm going to keep it
Well,
going.
just writing something in the private chat for you to see because I thought I wouldn't have time to. But then it all went quiet, and I thought, well, I could have just asked you instead.
Yeah, go for it, mate.
Yeah, because I didn't know if I would. So so obviously it's beginning of January, and so I've got a box of boys. I mean, shall I just a couple of clues and do 5 minutes, see if anyone can guess?
Yeah.
Right, let's see the clues. Right, here's the clues. Right, right. The clue is a different name for a farmyard animal. There you go. and no, it's not cock. And the real cryptic one is Robbie Williams did this for them.
Robbie Williams did this for them.
Yeah. It's a because I'm doing it for the. It's a song he did.
Oh. Wait, no.
I'm going to take the box off because you can't see it sometimes. Right. I don't think anyone's guessing, so I'll just show it.
Yeah, I don't have any guesses.
No.
I've always said, doesn't he say I'm doing it for the boys?
Not the boys, no.
Birds?
No.
Bunnies?
No.
I've no idea.
Think of the farmyard animal as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to think of. I can hear that Robbie Williams song in my head, but I can't remember what the next word is.
No, the box of girls was the second box I ever did. In fact, it's because of that. That's why I started doing it, because I did a box of boys and I was like, oh, I've got enough to do a box of girls. And then, of course, it then rolled on every year. Hey, Paddy's got it.
Box of kids.
Because I'm doing it for the kids. Yeah.
Oh,
nice.
I thought you meant farmyard animals in general.
And goats.
They're kids.
Yeah,
Right.
sorry.
So, here we go.
Okay.
And so we've got Anakin, we've got Padme, we've got the four from I remember Neil. I can't remember the other names from the Skeleton Crew.
Nice.
Then at the top you've got is it Sid Griebling and his brother, whatever his name is.
I can't remember their names.
Yeah,
I can't remember his name either.
and I got that.
Omega.
You've got Amigo or Omega. You've got young Boba, a better version of Boba there, I think.
Yes.
And then you've got the two from the Young Jedis, which I really don't know their names, but so I managed to get 12. I was going to put obviously Grogu in, but I thought, no, I've got enough now. So there you go. So 12 Star Wars kids. January 2026 is a box of kids.
Nice.
There you go. I quite like that one, actually.
That's a good one.
So I will say then, go straight into because that's why I did a box of kids, because I managed to finish it off with the two brothers because I went and bought this.
Nice. That's cool.
And do you know what? Yeah, it's quite more of a bulkier build than I was expecting, to be honest. So it's quite nice.
Yeah, it looks like it's a good size.
And it's and the thing is, you can get a hold of the bottom. It's really, you can if you're a kid, you really swish this thing around. But yeah, I quite liked, and it's just a bit more colourful, isn't it? So it's nice to. But yeah, so started off as I'm going to carry on the year and still buying Lego.
Yeah, wasn't it last week you were saying, "Oh, that's it now. That's it now. I haven't got no money. I'm out. I'm broke."
Well, the thing is,
I was like, tune in next week to see Whittakee's purchases.
Yeah, not quite. No, yeah, but not massive. I mean, this was on sale as well, mate. So that's why I went and
How
got
much
it.
did you get it for?
Eh?
How much did you get it for?
32 instead of 44.
Nice.
Where to? Where from? Argos.
Smiths.
Oh, okay.
And to be honest with you, mate, it was also another reason because I thought, oh, I'm 2 kids short for my box. I need to get these 2 stickers.
I hope you didn't say that out loud when you were at Smith's. Like, I need 2 more kids for my box. What?
No. Terrible.
I tell you what, though, shout out to my dad. He was over today, and we were talking about, like, you know, I don't know how the conversation started, but we were talking about, like, you know, when you were in school, did you ever get loaned? Like, where loaned? I shouldn't use that now that ACOB use it for a different reason, but it basically means when you're kind of left on your own. And obviously, I had groups of friends, but I remember I think Maya was getting upset about it, and Kirsty was telling my mum about the fact that Maya had gotten upset because she has got a small group of friends that she's like so close to, but they all happened to be off on one day, and she had nobody to talk to in school, and she was like really upset about it. And you know, we were talking about it, and Kirsty was like, "Yeah, it happened to me when I was in school." And I said, "Oh, it never really happened to me, but I do remember going to this one club thing, education club thing during school holidays to try and improve my like scores or grades or whatever, and nobody that went was anybody that I knocked around with in school. So I was kind of like in my free time, like a bit of a loner, and that was kind of new for me. And then my dad was saying, "Oh, I used to love being on my own when I was in school. I prefer my own company." And I was like, "Really?" And that doesn't make sense to my dad, because he is not really like a communal type person. He'll just happily just stay sheepish in the corner and not talk to anyone. And you got Whittakee, hopefully you'll get to meet him as well later in the year. But yeah, so he was like, "Oh yeah, I just used to like sitting in the playground and watching people." And I was like, but that's called a creep now. And then and I was trying to think then, what we had another conversation where he said something about, "Oh yeah, I just used to like, I just prefer watching people." And I was just like, "Yeah, Dad, you're starting to come on." And my mum's going, "Oh my God, I'm learning things about you I didn't know before. You were the creep in school." And I just started thinking about George McFly, you know, like in Back to the Future, where he goes back and he's like, "My dad's a peeping Tom," because he's up in the tree. He's up in the tree and he's like, "What's he looking at?" And he looks over and there's a woman in dress. And he's like, "My dad's a peeping Tom."
I've met your mum and dad, though, haven't I? Didn't they come to the restaurant?
Oh, you have? Yeah.
But it's very quick, so yeah.
Yeah, so obviously you get to meet my dad, because the plan is on the Monday to go out for the day, just the lads, because I'm not going to have a stag do as such, but we'll go out just the lads, or the men who happen to be there, which will be me, yourself, Slurpee, Nimble. It'll be my dad, my brother, Kirsty's stepfather. I think that might be it, actually, because there's not that many of us. And we'll just go out and, you know, explore London and see the sights and have something to eat or whatever, and not have a messy one, because obviously next day is the wedding. And there is a space available, Garrett, so if you do want to come over to the UK, we had one person drop out late August. So
18,
me and Kirsty,
I think I better book off a few more days. I booked off 18, 19. Probably need to book off a few more.
I would love to do that. If work isn't too busy, I might be able to do it. I don't know, but I should probably be buying my plane tickets now.
I know it's a way off, and it's
TPC.
It's a lot to come all the way across here for, mate. But you know, I don't want to talk about it in front of you without, you know.
No, you're fine. I appreciate it. I do really want to visit sometime. I need to renew my passport, and I need to get my life together a little bit. But
well, it's funny actually, because we did talk at one point about you potentially coming over for Bricktastic.
No, yeah, I really wanted to. I just
Well, we made the
Still
effort
a
to
lot
go
up in
to
there.
Brick World, so
I know, it's only fair.
Yeah.
Well, in
Fine,
fairness, he came from just as far away as we did to go to Brick
Well,
World.
true.
So.
Talking about that, I'd just like to answer that from Liam. Yeah, I hope you said. Yes, Liam, don't worry. I've given up smoking now, so I've got loads of money. Why do you think I keep buying all these Lego sets?
Well, just let you know, the StreamYard will need renewing very, very soon. So keep some for that.
Okay.
Get your 50 quid ready.
Okay, so right. What
Yeah,
are
I
we
shouldn't
talking
really be
about?
saying I've got loads of money on the stream. I haven't really.
Let's
It's just say I'm comfortable.
scroll past it. Patty, I'm not building right now, but I was building, but I'm working on the UCS Java sail barge. I got the base of it done basically.
That's the next set I've got my eyes on.
Yeah.
Well, actually, first of all, it's the Interceptor, because that I heard the other day that that's retiring maybe at the end of this year. So and I'm hoping, like it's done with the other with the other ones throughout the years, that this year that'll be on sale. Because like last year they did the X-Wing, the year before was the Land Speeder. So I'm hoping that May the 4th they do that on a sale.
Yep.
Because I don't really fancy it. There's not really many sets that I want to buy this year that's coming out. So
what is this comment about, Sarah? Coolman that needs to stay for weeks. I'm not sure what she was talking about there. Sorry. Garrett, are you building something there? Oh, yeah, you already answered that. Oh, TPC's in the house. What's up, TPC? That's not him. That's him.
We're about done, TPC.
Yeah, not a long way. I got one little thing I'm going to share, which was probably the only thing at one point I was going to share, but we went a bit overboard. Always been a bit introverted to protect our own privacy. Yeah, looking forward to meeting you as well, Muttley. And look, I'll say this now because I don't know if there's a better time to say it. I know you're a bit more protective around your privacy. We know that from like your content and stuff like that. And I know I've asked you to be on the show and you haven't, which is fine. Nobody's going to pressure you, but we can be, as a group, particularly Padawan, and I can't really include Nimble in this because we haven't met Nimble in person either. But particularly me, Slurpee, and Whittakee can be a little bit batshit crazy and a bit kind of like full on, especially when the three of us together. So you multiply that, you throw a Padawan in the mix. He wasn't really knocking around with us as much in Brickworld, and probably for the best, because otherwise there'd probably be like a hole in the world over there if that happened. But you throw a Padawan into the mix, it's like closing your fist around a firework. And then obviously we got Nimble thrown into the mix as well, so there'll be a bit of animosity there to start with because some of us haven't met and interacted with each other and others have. But I'll give you the same warning as I gave to these guys when we kind of first got into the room and got settled, and I said, look, I can be a bit over the top, particularly when it comes to like giving people shit. It is all in love.
A bit.
If it ever feels like, if it ever, because that's what I've been brought up on used to. My parents were here today, and all we did is just basically give each other shit. And Kirsty's like, I don't know how you were raised on this, but I can see now why it's giving you a thick skin, because they just basically made you like indestructible in terms of verbal abuse. But but it is all done in love. But I will say that it's like, if it gets too much, just pull me to the side and say, look, calm down a bit. You give me an headache or whatever, and I will fully accept that. But just to give you an idea of the kind of, and this just reminded me of a quick story. So I don't know if I might have said this on stream already, but the kind of sense of humor my mum's got, where I potentially have got it from. I was in my store the other day, and I knew my parents were coming up. They were coming to collect something, but I didn't really have an idea of what time. And anyway, this was a couple of weeks before Christmas, and one of the customers pointed out and said something to me like, "Oh, your store looks lovely and Christmassy," she said. And oh yeah, are you in the mood in the mood for Christmas now, and all the rest of it? Some just small talk about Christmas. And I said, unfortunately, we've had Christmas stock in our store since June, because we sell a lot of craft materials, which people who are making stuff to sell for craft fairs, they buy from us, so they have to kind of make that very early. So we have Christmas stock, craft stock in our store as early as June, sad as it is. And I said, well, we've had it we've had it in the store since June. I said, so I've practically had Christmas rammed down my throat for months. I said, so, you know, I can't really avoid it. And she just laughed. And I started walking away from this customer, and then I just heard somebody say, God, I wish I could have it rammed down my throat for a couple of months. I turned around, it was my mum. And she just said this flat out in the middle of the store. And even my staff heard it and were like, oh my God, now I know where you get it from. My mum's just laughing.
I was going to say, you definitely don't get it from your dad. He said he likes to be quiet and on his own. I was like,
oh, he's reserved.
Where did you get that from?
My dad will be the person in the room where he'll say nothing all day and all night. But if you speak to him, he will conversate with you, and that's about it. But and the fact that she came up with it so quick.
That's awesome. That's my type of.
But that's kind of what I was raised around. Bearing in mind, I was also raised in a Catholic family, so you can imagine there was definitely a lot of. We were spending a lot of time going to confession. Put it that way. So it was like every week at confession.
I'm Catholic, but never practicing one. I didn't do any of that. No. But every time we went over to Ireland, she'd say to me and my brother, like, yeah, you tell them you go to church every Sunday, you do confession. And I was like, okay.
Yeah. No, I was going to say, I think sometimes I spend more time in the confessional than I did at Mass. And the worst part about it was the priest clearly knew who I was because I was one of the altar boys. So it was not even any like.
Oh, okay.
There was not even any hiding from it. Like, so he'd be like, "Yes, Martin, I want you to do 2 Hail Fathers," and I'm like, "You're not supposed to know who I am." As I wanted to do 3 Our Fathers, 57 Hail Marys, and 3 Thanks Be to God, or whatever it was. So I'd be like, "Yeah." Anyway, the older we get, the less filter. Okay, so look, guys, let's do this piece. So a quick shout out to. It helps if I share the screen. Quick shout outs to wait a sec. Instagram. No audio. Share. Right, tell me what you can see. Can you see? Is it just going to be pictures? How do I get rid of that box there? Oh, I guess I can. I've never really used.
Right, I'll just add it to the stage a moment.
Oh, sorry, mate.
There you go. And further on the side as well.
Nice. I've never really used Instagram on a. Let me full screen this. It was a bit bigger. How can I get rid of this side? How can I get rid of this white piece? Can I just not have just this?
I don't know.
Because obviously, when you're looking at it on the phone, this fills.
Can you push the red arrow? Does the red arrow get rid of it? No.
No. Oh, I've just I liked it. At least. I thought that was. I mean, this is to scroll across, but I thought there was. When you're looking on your phone, that's all you see is this big box. Anyway, so shout out to I Am Wicked Wicket, otherwise known as Wicked Wicket. I reached out to them. After seeing this, I did mention this earlier, but again for Whittakee, I saw this and just after I've decided to postpone, I thought this would be great for the stream. Reached out to them, I don't know whether it's a he or a she, and said, "Hey, could I use this in a?" Well, actually, it's just easier if I just show you the conversation. Hey, love your 2025 review slides. Is something you made yourself? Either way, would you be happy for us to use this on our live show? We are having a 2025 in review episode, and this would be great to help showcase some interesting information with plenty of spelling mistakes in there. So they said, "Hey, thanks, and yeah, for sure, go ahead. Your show is great." So thank you. Feel free to pop on and join the discussion if you want. I didn't hear anything back, but either way, yeah, did a fantastic little thing. They do some great stuff, so go and give them a follow on Instagram, guys. So here we go. So it's 2025 wrapped, and it's basically a year in numbers. You might have seen these kind of things on social media before. So first of all, we've got 10 official droid figs this year. So it doesn't say what they all are, but if anybody wants name the remaining 6, go right ahead. But we've got the PK4 droid, Treadwell droid, Bowman Monk, and B2 Emo, or B2 as he's fondly known. I like the B2 one. I actually like this Bowman Monk as well. I think the reason we got so many droids or buildable droids this year was because of the
2 of those are in the calendar, aren't they?
I think
Treadwell droid is, and
Yeah, where's the Bowman Monk from then? I thought that was in the calendar.
No,
'cause
that's not in the
I wouldn't
calendar.
know because I still haven't
yet,
built mine.
anyway. Oh, right.
Same with the PK4. I don't actually know what these come in, so I thought all 4 of these are in there because I'm still only on day 7.
No. Unfortunately.
But so yeah, it'd be interesting to know what these are. But the reason we got more was because of the calendar, which to start with, I think I slated it a little bit, but I think these kind of builds are actually pretty cool. So, taking them away from the calendar and putting them in, I think the main issue with the calendar was that it was just kind of lacking figs and Christmas figs.
Yeah.
But overall, getting builds like B2, for example, I think are actually pretty cool because the chances are we never would have got them otherwise. So anyway, so that's that. So interesting if you guys can call out the other 6. What else we got? 2026 rumors and predictions, right? These aren't in the order I saw them, but I don't know how this works. But so we got a Mos Eisley Cantina coming, a Dagobah Jedi training.
So I'm kind of looking forward to that one as well.
That's interesting they do that again. So
I'm
soon,
hoping
because
that the advance is good because if I buy it, at least then I've got a smart brick. Some of the other ones don't come with a smart brick, so
right.
But I'm not really, like I said, just.
I assume the Dagobah one will come with the smart brick, isn't it?
No, it just comes with tags and stuff. So
no, these are all with smart bricks.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, so if you look at the top, 2026 rumors and predictions, sets with smart bricks and minifigs. I mean, obviously it's
right.
rumors.
They changed it then because the rumors I heard it was only going to be the TIE Advance, the
X-wing,
and then the Palpatines. No, not the rest. The other one, the duel. When they're fighting.
Oh, okay. Well, there's obviously some. I mean, this figure down here, this second X-wing pilot is grey. So I don't know. I mean, obviously it's a prediction anyway because this isn't the actual set. So I'm not sure why that's grey. Maybe because they don't know whether it's going to come with 1 or 2 figs. But yeah. So I mean, these kind of, in fairness, these kind of seem like the right sets to introduce something like that because these are kind of your basic sets that cover most of the original trilogy in terms of key scenes. But I don't know about the Dagobah training. Seems a bit early to do another one of those when we've had a set and a diorama within the last sort of 10 years. So anyway, so there's that.
We're quite looking forward to it because obviously I started after it gone. So
every year, wait a second, am I on the right thing? I don't think I'm on the right thing because this isn't what I was looking at earlier. Oh no, I'm just looking at his posts. I want to see. He put a post up that was an actual slideshow. Don't tell me you can see them because this is just. I'm just scrolling through his posts. He put something up that was actual slideshow. Can you not see it in this format? See, these are the things you can see on the bottom. Look.
Yeah.
Can you click the arrow?
Oh, this arrow. What a dickhead. I thought it looked different. I didn't see that arrow there. It was hidden by this fucking...
No, until you've seen it, I couldn't see it either.
Yeah, I never would have saw that, and that's blended in really nicely with this throne room thing. But anyway, here we go. So 2025 wrapped. 86 new minifigs, including several long-awaited clone troopers like the Galactic Marines, the V19 Torrent pilot, and this is the 332nd Battalion. The return of Asajj Ventress after 10 years. Peak Lego minifigure here. And some incredible new molds. So we've got, Babu Frick. We've got
Plo Koon.
I don't
remember the other guy's name. It's a Kaminoan for sure.
It's coming to me. What was the other one's name? I can usually get it if I hear the other one's name. Prime Minister or Minister.
Oh God, it's completely gone out my head.
Chat will tell us now. Although I'm going to hate it because it's on the tip of my tongue.
I got the box here. Lamasu.
Yeah, Minister Lamasu. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, some great molds. I mean, it's not limited to what he's showing here, but there have been some fantastic ones. That in particular, this Plo Koon.
The Plo Koon is amazing.
Yeah,
I want to say that's the best minifigure head mold, not including helmets, head mold
Maybe ever.
Star Wars have ever done.
Yeah,
The detail, the coloring.
I agree.
Well, surprisingly, he's my backlog. I haven't done it yet.
Yeah, I built mine. It's super good.
Main minifig issues. So I was thinking it meant magazine issues, but it's like, what were we complaining about? So inaccurate colors and pieces. So this kind of coloring on. I don't know what the coloring was necessarily wrong, but definitely the hair. Yeah. Unless you're only looking at the wet hair version of him.
Well, and his blue robes are a darker blue in the actual movie.
Yeah,
I remember Ryan talking about it.
Well, that's why in my box of boys I used the older Boba Fett, the young Boba Fett. I think the one that came in the calendar because it was a lot. Yeah, to me it looks better. The hair anyway.
No pupils on this Darth Maul from the mech. No problem with that whatsoever.
Yeah,
I don't care. Honestly, I think it's
but
fine.
It does, but they do look a bit weird without having any pupils. It does look a bit.
I don't think so.
No,
we're talking about a fantasy product. I mean, it's weird compared to the version they've done with pupils. So why would you take something out that looked fine? But we have that conversation with Lego about everything. But they have changed this headpiece, though, right? This is different to the previous versions.
I think so.
Because I'm looking at the box here.
That headpiece has been around for a while.
Has it? To me, it looks more detailed. I'm looking at on the actual box. I've got the Lego set right here, and I feel like the horns are better shaped. Sorry, I don't know why.
I don't know. Maybe they changed the height of the horns because I know the first set that came with horns was from the Clone Wars movie, and it was Darth Maul's brother, the guy who had the yellow tattoos.
Oh.
Yeah,
that was a long time ago.
Savage, is that his name?
Yeah,
Savage. Yeah.
It's like a speeder bike set.
I'd like to get him as a figure. He's cool. They should have when they brought out a bit like what they did with the Marvel ones. When they brought out the Darth Maul mech, they should have had Savage as well with it.
Good take. Yeah. No waist case and cloth cameras, or should I say, no waist case or cloth cameras for somebody like. Obviously we could argue that we want it on all figs, but to some stretch. But this is probably one that should have had it more than anything else, and didn't. So I missed a trick there. Still no dual molded legs, even in $1,000 set. I mean, wait, was there not a single figure that didn't have dual molded legs in that entire set?
No, and you can go to Pick a Brick at every Lego store right now and get dual molded legs that are gray with black boots.
What's that?
You want about the Death Star that didn't have the dual molded legs?
Yeah.
Apart from the trooper, the hot tub trooper, he did.
Yeah, he did.
Right. Okay. So 30 new sets in Star Wars alone. Junior sets, max 13%. So I'm assuming that junior sets probably includes 4+ if there was any this year, and micro fighters. Play sets was 37%, and then display sets, which I presume includes UCS.
Yeah, the buildable ones, I would have thought.
The buildable, like the droids and things like that. I don't think there was any dioramas this year, but it'll probably be the MIDI scale would come into that as well, which is why this 50% seems quite inflated.
I hope they haven't stopped dioramas. I really like dioramas.
2025 marks the third year in a row where play sets make up less than half of all releases, and the first year everywhere. The first year ever where display sets, MIDI scale, brick build characters, and UCS sets account for 50% of all sets, a new record. So obviously this, can't even really call it a niche anymore, but this niche here is growing, and it's taking up large.
Well, of course, we got an extra UCS set this year, last year, didn't we? So
yeah, well, and this is the adult bracket here as well, isn't it? Primarily adult bracket.
Yeah.
So this is just saying that I think whether the numbers connect to it or whether this is just because, there's obviously more money than generally in these sets, is that the younger generation who will potentially buy these sets is slowly kind of growing out of Star Wars. So we need a new
They're busy
film
playing
franchise.
Fortnite.
Yeah, but we need a new film franchise. That's what we need, a new film franchise for the kids, because even the films that they're talking about doing seem more aimed at the adult audience, So
yeah.
Anyway, that's
I
a
think
different
the
story.
Grogu one, the Mandalorian Grogu, will be aiming for families and kids, won't it?
Yeah, but it's not. We need like another, the start of another trilogy, even if it's not connected to the Skywalker saga. Do you know what I mean? We need something that's for everybody, that's a continual thing, because this effectively is the end of the Mandalorian, and that was only a TV show originally anyway. So anyway, the official Revenge of the Sith 20th anniversary. So we got the Clone Turbo Tank, we got the
MTT.
MTT.
Or MTT.
MTT. We've got this battle pack, 332nd battle pack. We got the ARC 170. We got Plo Koon.
It's a bloody shame how expensive most of the sets are.
Mm-hmm. And of course the Brickheads, which I forgot that came out in 2025. That feels like previous year to me.
Well, Smiths in England, they're selling a turbo tank and the MTT, I think, for 109 now, or something like that. They've gone down.
Mm-hmm.
When we went to Brick World, it was a new set, that Brickhead set.
Right. So this is what I want to say, and I went on record to say that this wave that these sets came out in, right, these three specifically, was probably one of the most overpriced waves ever. And I said back then, and before it was launched, and during its launch, and after its launch, mark my words, this is Lego inflating the prices because they know there are idiots out there who'll pay for top price or whatever price they put on it. They could make this 400.
We've been wanting these sets for like 15, 20 years. Like,
so they don't have to put a lot of effort into it.
Yep.
Well, I can't say that because the MTT, I think well, anyway, aside the point from whether there's effort's gone into it or not, or whether you want the set or not, I said at the time, and I'm putting it down now again, that they overpriced these sets, and the reason they did it, the reason it was overpriced, wasn't because anything to do with inflation, wasn't anything to do with, it's because they wanted to make that bang out the gate, big bubble winnings, because no matter what price they put these at, people were always going to buy them day one. That's where they make their winnings, and then these would aggressively go down in price much faster than any other set. So it seems like, wow, these are down to 109 now, which seems like a massive drop. But really, if this was priced more realistically at 120, then 109 isn't that good. So they've got us in two places. They've got us because they've put it at an inflated price, ridiculous price, and people have paid it day one because they've got to have it. So the FOMO people, hats off to them. If you're one of those people, fine, but don't complain about prices, right? Or we've got us the second time because we've seen it go from the ridiculously stupid 180 or whatever it is mark down to 109 and thought, wow, that's a £70 saving. That's a whatever it is percentage saving. That's massive. I've got to buy it now. Yeah, but no, because if it was 100, if it was 120 like it should have been, and somebody said, right, I'm going to take £10 off this £120 set, is that a good deal? You'd say no. But you're looking at it versus the crap, ridiculous price. And that's exactly what they've done, because I've never seen, this is the first time I've seen such a whole wave where it was ridiculously overpriced, and those exact same sets have come down by a huge margin in the shortest time span than any other Lego set that I've seen before. Do you know what I mean? That's come down huge.
I still wouldn't, probably, because I just don't like the sets, some of them. So it's
look, we'll talk about the sets a bit more next week, because all of these are most of these are touched on in your choices. So I don't want to steal the thunder, but just I want to talk generally about that wave, and that I was the guy saying, hey, it's like the 12 grapes thing, 12 grapes under the table. Have you guys heard of that?
No.
Right, we were talking about it today, and I got into a conversation with my parents about, I remember being around when the Naughty Elf thing was created, working in retail when that was created. It wasn't around when I was a kid. It's a corporation thing. They create it, people buy into it, they've got to have this. Next thing you know, they're spending hundreds and hundreds of pounds on this elf doing lots of different things, different outfits, before Christmas has even started. And it doesn't work. Like, it's just bizarre. I remember Christmas Eve boxes. I remember that coming into fashion and becoming a
Yeah.
thing. And now you can not have a Christmas Eve box. My parents like remember kind of Advent and Advent calendars and where they've come from, where you'd have one in the entire family to all the kids have got to have a chocolate one and they've got to have a toy one.
Pictures, wasn't it?
Yeah, you just have a little picture you open and it'd be a picture of like, Mary or a goat or, if you're Wales, it was 24 sheep.
Well, my brother used to have the candles. He'd light it down to the number every day.
That's what I'm saying. So we've seen these things and it's always about us having to spend more money, making more money. How can companies make more money? I remember the days where we used to get an Easter egg for Christmas, and my parents remember, and I got to the point where I was going into school after Easter, and I was like, how many Easter eggs did you get? I got 14. I got 15 Easter eggs. I'm just thinking, what? We were lucky if we got 2 or 3. My parents were like, we had, when they were kids, they didn't have like chocolate eggs and stuff, but when they did come out, it was like 1 a piece. And now it's just, I have people coming, I work in toys and books, right? And you have parents coming in and are literally saying to me, oh, I bought this for my daughter, I bought this for my son, but my other son wants a new PlayStation, so I'm gonna have to try and save some more money and get him the new PlayStation. And I'm like, wait a sec, it's Easter coming up, right? And not Christmas. And they're like, oh, well, I'll get him a chocolate egg, she said, but they like, I get him this and I get him that. And they're walking out with hundreds and hundreds, and it's great for me, but it's hundreds and hundreds of pounds worth of toys, and then they're going off to buy a PlayStation for Easter. Like, what the hell? And that's happened during...
She went, instead of chocolate egg, can I have a? And I went, no. I said, it's Easter egg or nothing. So
and I'm bearing in mind, most of these people who are celebrating Christmas and who are celebrating Easter and spending all this money and getting into it, you mention religion to them, and they're like, I don't believe in any of that. Well, hang about what? I mean, I don't believe in like what Muslim traditions. I'm not against them, but I don't believe in what they believe in. But I don't celebrate their celebrations. So it always seemed bizarre to me that I would go to church every day, and we'd celebrate Easter and we celebrate Christmas, and then you'd have other people mocking you, and then talking about what they got for Christmas, and I'm like, what? That doesn't make any sense. Like, you're celebrating a holiday that my religion created. or it's based around, and that always
steal a lot of it from pagans, but there you go.
Well, whatever. But what I'm saying is that we're in touch with what it's about.
Yeah.
And so we appreciated it more because we knew it was about new life and what the egg represented and all the rest of it. And obviously Christmas was, the gifts were given because of, you know what I mean? And that always I wouldn't say infuriated me, because each to their own. And obviously I don't, I'm not a practicing Catholic or, a religious person at all now. And I still celebrate those things, but it was more to do with people, the greed, the capitalism that was surrounding these events, when people didn't even know where it came from. And I just think not having that knowledge or that background kind of made it a bit two-faced. But anyway, it's just these things that have been created over time. Like last year, it was the first time I heard of a boo basket. And then there's a burr basket where you buy your loved one presents for Halloween, and then you buy presents for Christmas. So the burr basket and the Halloween, it's again created by social media, become this big thing people have got to buy into. Well, so-and-so got a burr basket. I need a burr basket. So-and-so got a... And it's just like, what the hell? Trick or treating is another one. Obviously it was invented a long time ago. It's been around for a few decades, but there was a time where it's about buying more sweets so that you can give to the kids. And it's just like, I don't know. Anyway, this year's one, and I'm putting this now out there using this platform to just put it out there. And I mark my words, this time next year, there'll be rumbling. So if you haven't heard of it now, you will next year. Companies were selling packets of individually segmented grapes. So like, you imagine your kind of blister pack that you would have like strawberries or whatever in, but with like little dips for each grape to sit in.
I forgot we were talking about the grapes.
So it's a square plastic container with 12 little, not like segments as in like a bento box type thing, but just like little dips so they can sit in, with 12 grapes in and plastic cover. And it'd say 12 grapes for Christmas. And they were around this Christmas just gone, right? But it just hasn't really taken off yet. So this is the tester. Next year, I think we'll see it. And apparently the tradition is that you sit under your table with your family or on your own or whatever, and you eat the 12 grapes and it gives you luck for the rest of the year. And I was like, what a load of shit. What a load of absolute tosh. What are you talking about? And then people were going out and buying. Customers came into my store and they were like, "Oh, June, I'm going over to Tesco now to see if they've got any of the 12 grapes for Christmas." I was like,
God,
what are you talking about? I said, "You're going to pay it was £1, right? Which don't seem like a lot of money for 12 grapes. When you think how many grapes you get in a punnet, which is probably £2,
yeah,
it's just companies are like, how we're not making enough money
24.
between." We're not making enough money between Christmas and New Year. What can we create? And this freaking grapes, 12 freaking grapes. They're not even on a bunch or whatever.
That's
it's just
yeah.
separated 12 grapes. And like I said, everybody I've mentioned it to, apart from a few people here and there and a few things on social media, I've heard, barely anybody's heard of it. But I said to my parents tonight, I said, next year it'll be frigging everywhere. And you'll be like, where did I hear about this? And then you'll remember me and you'll be like, yeah, he foretold this. What a load of shit. And it frustrates me. But anyway, that's a rant aside. Despite Disney re-releasing the movie in theaters for its 20th anniversary, Lego didn't release an official Revenge of the Sith anniversary wave, instead offering only a handful of Revenge of the Sith based sets, most labeled as Clone Wars and some inaccurate to the movie. Yeah. Disappointing. I mean, when it talks about inaccuracy to the movie, I'm not quite sure what they mean there, because these bottom two sets, accuracy on the box set and everything there seemed okay. 3/32 only existed in Clone Wars, so I don't know whether I'd want to call that.
Yeah, the MTT was that was from the Clone Wars. It wasn't in the Sith, was it?
Now, if Ayla Secura had been in, I guess, because Ayla Secura in 3/32 is, that scene itself is in Revenge of the Sith, where, they go empty, full clips on her or whatever. But I don't know whether I'd say this is inaccurate, because this isn't necessarily saying, I don't know. I think really for me, the only two Revenge of the Sith sets, right, I get the inaccuracy. He's talking probably specifically about Ki-Adi-Mundi, Captain Bakara, when that should have been the 80, remind me, 80T? No, 80.
But the Blue Clone one was definitely in, because you see him get blasted.
DP? Yeah. And yeah, so that, but again, I wouldn't really say these, were all Revenge of the Sith sets anyway, but I can kind of see where he's getting at. The good surprises. So these were some sets that, I don't know whether they were all necessarily surprises. I don't know whether he means like the sets were a surprise, because for me, only the gingerbread thing came out of nowhere and surprised us all and was a great set. Similar to the MIDI scale Executor Star Destroyer.
Is that I can see?
Yeah, your blazes there.
Yeah.
But the others, I think we knew these were coming, so I think he perhaps means surprises in these were surprisingly good. And the only one I would disagree with is probably the Star Wars thing.
Yeah, I am
surprised that we got that.
One is awesome. I really enjoyed building that.
Yeah.
Even though I said, "Oh God, no more bloody buildable," because there's too much of it. But shout out to Smokey.
Smokey. Yeah, sorry if I'm not. You're on the chat, you Mark.
Yeah, I'm on it, mate. Don't worry.
The downsized sets. Downsizing is that? Sorry, was there a statement at the bottom? No, there wasn't. The downsized sets. Downsizing is a record high this year. Okay, so Slave 1, Django's Fire Spray, whatever you want to call it. I can put that in a category of downsizing, because they also gave us a UCS. So to get two sets in the same year, I think that was both surprising, welcome. Yeah, a surprise, sure, but a welcome one.
If you've got the other small Boba Fett's one, it goes. But I've got them now together on the shelf, and they do look quite nice together. The smaller ones.
Yeah, and I think it's okay to do this if other versions exist. I mean, even if they did this the year before or even this year, I think that would be okay. I wouldn't be classed as a downscale, because there is a bigger version available. So it's like,
but you also got Lama Su, which is a great figure.
Absolutely, but similarly, the MTT. Would I say that's downscaled? Yes, clearly it's downscaled, but I think if it's done right, it sometimes works well, because it's more robust. And not only that, but we've never had this in this version. So therefore, is it downscaled? no. Downscaled compared to other MTTs, but if this is the first version of this we've got, then how can you complain? Because all of the MTTs were downscaled.
I mean, I haven't
'Cause
heard
none of them
that
were minifig scale anyway.
it's smaller, but I've been told that it's actually quite a good, detailed set. So
these two across the middle, I mean, again, we're just talking compared to previous versions, but I own both the previous versions of the U-Wing and the V19, and I can tell you that both of them, I haven't built either of them, so I guess I'm not the leading discussion on this, but they both the original versions are a little bit. I think the original U-Wing, was a bit too big. I mean, it still wasn't to scale then, but it was just a bit too oversized, a bit clumpy. So I think the scale works better, personally. Yes, it's downscaled. I'm not arguing that, but I think it works better, again, because it's been done right, but there are parts of it that are crap. V19, the original is shite to me. It's just too gangly. And I actually think the scale of this is better for the minifig as well. So none of these are anything I'm particularly cheesed off about. I think the only thing is, for me, is Turbo Tank, because they did obviously it's not a great build, but to scale it down and not actually improve on the things that were wrong with the previous versions, i.e. these gangly ass wheels, is
and like you said, the figures that came with it should have been with the other. I don't know what it's called, the other ship, the other transport.
But if we're talking just downsizing, I think the Arc 170 is the one here. That and the thank you, and the the fire spray are the two that get a pass for me, because I think they were done well and not scaled down enough for it to be a huge problem. Again,
well, I've just built the slave one, and I really enjoyed it. It's nice.
And like I said, that gets a pass because there was a big version out. And then the Arc 170 gets a pass because this one, I think, looks better in every way than the original or the originals. But if you only care about something being as big as possible, then yeah, of course. So factually, it is downsized. But is it always a bad thing? I don't think so. The only play sets that avoided downsizing. Good night. Love you. The only play sets that are... Everyone's saying good night. Well, Whittakee saying good night. They're saying good night.
Good night.
Good night. Good night, Ned. The only play sets that avoided downsizing.
Only I'm going to get that.
The only...
Oh my! That film when that first came on, you've never seen me laugh so much in my life. That is, I can't believe someone else remembers that.
The turtle. Yes. No, the tortoise. It is a tortoise, isn't it?
It is.
Three Amigos, guys, go and check it out. The only play set that avoided downsizing were battle packs, the Force Burner Snowspeeder, and the Soku's Jedi Interceptor. Yeah. And
Smoky. I knew it began with a U, but I couldn't think of.
We can talk about that next year. The set event of the year, the $1,000 UCS Death Star. And then obviously there's some slating going on here. This guy's throwing an Oreo. Oh no, it's a flat UCS. And yeah, so this is basically this got a lot of talk. And I think this is a perfect example of media done well, because all they did is call it a $1,000 set, which is just kind of like an earmark, even if it's not worth that. And all the surrounding gossip and talk. There's no such thing as bad publicity, guys. And all the people who went out and bought this fell straight into their trap. So it's a trap. What are they saying, Matt? What are you giggling at? I'm missing it all.
Oh, because when you put that up, I put that up. No more bloody Death Star. I've still got it on here.
I can't see it, can I? No,
right. Yeah, so yeah, the banner's still there. No more bloody Death Star.
Controversial summer 2025 wave. MTT 1.7. I don't know where this. Oh, sorry. These sets are now the lowest rated on the official Lego website and Amazon. So I don't know if this is Amazon score, Lego score on average. I'm not sure, but just those two conglomerates.
I think it's the Lego store. I think
1.7. I mean, what's it marked on? Is it marked on? Is it everything? Or I don't know. Anyway, overpriced and downsized. poor quality and accuracy, the most expensive battle pack ever. So the middle one, you can't really do much about that. But the first one and the last one, you're scoring it down because basically you wanted to be cheaper when you bought it day one. Right? And that's what cheeses me off, because these people, to be able to give this an accurate score, must have bought it. Right? Because you can't not buy something and score it. I don't think that's fair. So they've bought it day one and then complained that it's overpriced. Do you see the irony there?
They shouldn't have bought it then. Yeah.
Well, no, because they're contributing to they're contributing to their own score.
I think some people just went on there anyway and just put it down before they even bought it, because I could have done that, gone on there and just said, yeah, it's overpriced, and obviously not bought it. But yeah, I see what you mean. They're complaining that they they bought it.
So not an accurate score then, because a score should be based on the whole thing, not just the price. So either they haven't scored it accurately, or they've scored it poorly, and they're the reason it's scored poorly, both because they scored it poorly and because they're contributing towards it being poor, because it's overpriced, because people like them are buying it. Do you know what I mean? It's politics, but it's
to me. I look at that. I look at it, and when you say it goes down in price now, but when it first comes out, and I know you say about the price, but I do look and I think, but does it? Is it worth that much? And it's like, well, no, it's not, and I won't buy it. So to me, I can complain. That's because I don't buy it.
But what I'm saying is that at the point where you've given this review, right, it's overpriced. So you've either bought it, or in your case, if you haven't bought it, you're marking something that you don't own, or you can't. That's not a review score of the set. That's a review score. Your review score is only of the price. And that's not fair, because I see 1.7 this is a crap set as well as a crap price. That's what people read when they see a score. They don't see the score and go, oh, it must be overpriced. I wonder if the product's any good, though. They don't. They see a rating, and if anything, they see that the rating represents the quality of the product over the price any day of the week. If I bought recently a pair of arthritis gloves because I got some problems with my hands, right? And I went for the ratings. And then our of the best ratings then chose the one was the best price. I didn't look at the ratings and go, oh, that must be because
I tend to read them as well. I tend to read the ratings as well, what they say about it. So.
I mean, obviously these comments are probably coming, and again, I don't want to kill it, because next week we're going to be talking about sets specifically, so it can come out in the wash then. But I just stuff like this just seems too blasé to me to have any kind of. And again, just if your score is bad because it's too overpriced, wait for it to be cheaper and then score it. You know what I mean? What's your score then, kind of thing. GWPs, we had the May the 4th GWP exclusive minifigs with hand printing, dual molded legs, a brand new ship never made before. So this is what we got, albeit this is all we got. One less than previous years, but okay, still a good set. Not good enough for them to be able to get away with giving us one less GWP over a certain threshold, but okay. This took away points as well, because obviously it was readily available both before and after, and there was even places you could go and get this without spending a penny. So this kind of negates it. So effectively, if you really want to compare apples to oranges or whatever, this is all we got for the May GWP compared to 3 previous sets.
I will say, when I first heard about it, and if you remember this as well, I was like, first of all, I was like, oh, I don't know, and it's like, it's going to be rubbish. It's not going to have any arm printing. It's not going to be. And I must admit, they shut me up. I was like, fair play. Dual molded legs and arm printing. That GWP really got me. I only got the one this year, but that's because of Brick World.
They set themselves up to fail, though, because the next GWP we had that year, and potentially could have had none. So, yeah, okay, I can compare this to nothing if they hadn't brought out another UCS set. But they brought out another UCS set that year.
Oh, nice.
The third UCS set at that point. And it's a bag of spanners. So it's like, Did they do this? I know there's a lot of talk about this being an afterthought and they just took a piece out of the set. But did they do this with such lackluster because they feel like they knocked it out of the park already that year? And, we were already getting an extra GWP full stop. So it could be almost, they could have put a feather in a bag and we'd have been happy. Do you know what I mean? I feel like that's kind of the thinking. And that scares me.
But I'm not being funny. Even if it was like on a GW for something else, it's just a terrible looking bit. It's just terrible. It's just it's a terrible build. Alone that is like, you've got to have it to complete the Death Star, but they could have surely designed it a bit better, and then given maybe an exclusive fig with it. Even say like the TIE Fighter with arm printing or something like that. So that's just my
100%.
opinion.
I thought this was quite interesting. I like seeing this stuff. So a visual representation of prices, however high or low you think they are. So the range went from $14.99 to $1,000. So this year already, they're off to a lower start with, I think, was it $9.99 or $8.99, whatever it might be for us. All because $14.99, ours didn't go over that either, did it? So what was this $14.99 set? Not the Mech,
is it the platoon? Yeah.
So what would that have been here at retail? It was $11.99, right? RRP, Lego store.
Oh, is this dollars, is it? Because I can't really see, it's so small.
Yeah, I just want to see that our range is roughly.
Oh, right. Yeah, that would have been, well, maybe, is it $12.99, something like that? I think it was, or something.
Yeah, so it wasn't sub 10, whereas this year it will be for both.
Because I'm quite surprised. Like brickheads are like $10. And over here, they're £10. So I was expecting the what's it? The Mandalorian and Grogu on the speeder bike. That's $10, isn't it? And I was expecting it to be £10 here, but no, it's not. It's $8.99. So it is a. And another thing that surprised me is the other speeder bike, the Cad Bane one, is $35, isn't it? So I was expecting that to be £30 here because normally that's about the price, but no, it's $24.99. So I was like, wow, that's quite.
Yeah, but
normally it's a $10 or £10 difference if it's something like $60 or $70, but usually when it's
that's not to do with the strength of the pound. As much as
I think that's because they add on their tariffs now and stuff like that. But yeah, it is. We are now paying quite a bit.
The gap has changed slightly now because of not the strength. The pound haven't strengthened. In fact, the pound has actually weakened.
Yeah,
but the dollar has weakened more.
Right. Okay.
So
but yeah, it still surprised me that it was that we're paying 10. Yeah, I was because normally, like I said, if it's usually $35, it's normally about £30.
I remember when the
$24.99. I thought, oh, that's not bad.
I remember when the exchange rate was £1 was $2.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh God, yeah, I remember.
So a Lego set at that point. Obviously, there wouldn't have been Star Wars Lego at that point, but a Lego set at that point would have been roughly about half the price. But that was because the pound was particularly strong when the dollar was relatively weak. So. But obviously it swings and roundabouts. It goes up and down. But we've seen the dollar weaken slightly over the last year or so, and the pound less so. So yeah, we will be seeing those bigger. What frustrates me though, and hopefully they don't do it this year with that fact that information I just shared because I don't know the actual details, but is if they do the threshold thing again, where you've got to spend $175 to get whatever it is, 3 or 2 items. And then it's £175. So strictly speaking, we're paying more.
Yes.
Do you see what I mean? Or we'd have to buy an additional set if you were to do, compare set to set. Which is wrong. It's fundamentally
I need
wrong.
to get going. Sorry to cut you off.
Sorry, Garrett. I completely forgot you were there, mate. You okay?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm just I'm falling asleep.
Oh, bless. Okay, mate.
But
we went on a lot longer than I was expecting to because I can talk.
Yeah, no worries.
But no, like appreciate you having you along again, mate. I know you're on off on weekends, so it's a bit frustrating that you sent me that information. You might not be here to present it, so I think I owe you an apology more than anybody else because.
Oh, it's all right.
But if you do get a chance to pop on, even if it's just 5 minutes to present your slide next week, I'll still throw it up.
Yeah, I think I should be able to.
But let me know what
apologize
suits you.
for closing down the show earlier.
Mm.
Oh, it's all right. It didn't bother me. It was more of a laugh than anything.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But no, good luck with the rest of this UCS, mate. And if I'm a bit more readily available now, so if you fancy doing a build stream, just reach out to me and we'll see if we can carve some time out.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Yeah, I've had a fair amount of free time, so yeah, we can make something happen.
Martin's got to do a build stream soon because he's not leaving a certain set in his backlog. No, he's got to make it.
It will be the next, build stream.
You haven't built anything for a whole year.
I haven't built anything at all this year, no.
Nope. So you got to get started on something.
Within the last week, I've built 3 sets.
You got to catch up.
Well, I actually brought home all my backlog, my work backlog home today as well.
Wow.
You've got a lot there, haven't you? I've seen that. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's no room.
Did you look like Santa Claus going through the snow with a big bag on your back?
Well, my parents have downsized their car now since they retired because they don't really use it for anything.
Nice.
So and they've got like a hybrid, so they've got a smaller car, and of course they've helped me in the past ship things from one place to another. So I said, look, can you come and because they were coming to collect a document from me, can you take this, help me take this stuff? And the car was so full that even I couldn't fit in it, so I had to walk in the ice.
My gosh!
An hour walk home from work. I was day off today, so I'd walk to work.
Yeah.
To get this stuff ready, bring it downstairs, put it by the loading bay, get them to park up, load up the car. It was so full, and it wasn't just Lego, but there was other Star Wars stuff there. And he's gone. That story was interesting. But by the time I loaded it up, my dad was like, "Look, I don't really want to do 2 trips." So, he's back. Yeah, my dad was like,
"He's done a Whittakee."
I was like, "At least he didn't end the stream. It didn't take us all."
No.
But by the time we loaded everything up, he didn't really want to do 2 trips, and Kirsty was doing some food, so I was just said, like, look, you guys go, I'll walk. Hopefully I should be there quick, and then realized obviously all the ice, so I didn't get there quickly at all. But it was that much stuff, and then they've unloaded it all in like the doorway of the house. So it's kind of blocking the downstairs bathroom. It's in the kitchen. It's in the hallways, and it's like, so I got to try and dig through that at some point. So. Anyway,
maybe you need a pair of ice skates or something so you could get to work faster.
Yeah, well, at this rate, mate, or skis or something, or even if it was all downhill, I'd just jump on my belly and just slide down.
I've seen. Do you guys have Costco there?
Yeah.
My friend swears by these. I think he bought them at Costco. He told me they are like. I assume you have some kind of boots. They're these things that are made out of like rubber, but they have little metal bits in them, and they hook onto the bottom of your shoe, and then you like strap them onto it, and it adds like basically a layer of like little like not like spikes, but just like grippy metal pieces to the bottom of your shoe that you can just clip on and off if you're going inside or walking on wood floors or something like that. But when you go outside in the ice, you can slip them on, and then you don't slip and slide in the ice as much. And so I don't know what they're called, but
you've got snow over there, have you, Martin, at the moment?
Yeah, it's been snowing on and off, but the problem is because
doom and gloom here, and just raining.
So I'm on the coast. I could throw a stone at the ocean from here, but or the sea. So generally, snow doesn't settle here. It doesn't mean we don't get it, but it doesn't settle. But it turns it into like sheet ice because of the salt in the air, breaks it down so that it doesn't sort of. There's probably some chemical thing about it, but something I learned that if you're closer to the sea. So although we have had snow here, and it has never been super thick. But I've lived in places where the snow falls quite heavy, and it was falling as heavy as that last night. But then by the time I woke up, I was like, it's white everywhere, but it's white, like crisp white, hard white, as opposed to like soft white, So that's what keeps happening. So I think it's because the temperature's rising because it snows when it's being cold and then it starts warming up. But then by the time the snow's
melts, freezes.
Starts melting, and then it goes cold again. So the temperature's changing that rapidly, and we can feel it because it got I was going to say the air conditioning. We've got the thermostat on for the temperature, and you're like next minute, you're like, oh, I've got to knock it down to like 18 because it's warm in the house. Next minute, like, oh, it's freezing. I've got to knock it back up to. You just can't regulate it because the thermostat is supposed to regulate it for you, but it's the house is changing temperature so
too
much
much.
that you're up and down the yo-yo. So, but anyway. Nice to have you on again, mate. And like I said, if you're available this week or throughout the week, let me know and we'll sort something out.
Sounds good. Cheers, guys.
Yeah. Right. Take care.
Later.
Take care, Garrett.
Take it easy, Garrett. Cheers, mate.
You too. Thank you.
Ta-ra.
Bye, guys. Bye, chat.
Bye.
Go follow Garrett on YouTube and Instagram. I didn't put the links for everybody's down below in the description like I normally do because I'm lazy. So I think we might be on the last slide. So I think visually this looks pretty good to me because I like this kind of stuff. So sliding scales. So we've got our $22.99 battle pack set going up to, what's this? A turbo tank at $159 for regular playset price range. Display set price range went from this Venator, not the Venator, sorry, the Acclimator, right up to the Death Star, and then of course other sets, smaller sets, and like calendars, $49.99 to $44.99. So yeah, quite interesting. And then Happy New Year and this little dickhead on the last thing. But yeah, do you know what? The more I'm looking at this, I will say this, and I do say this about sets, and I'll always be honest that I thought this looked like shit when it came out, but it is growing on me because
I always thought it looked all right. It looked what it was supposed to be.
I think this looks better than it in full scale. I've always said that I like the way they did the what do you call it, the spear.
Yeah.
And I thought that they did a very good job of getting the face because this is wicked straight away. There's no like, do you know what I mean? I think it's just the legs, the waist and below where, like I said, it looks like it needs to pee or whatever. But the more I'm looking at this, the more I'm thinking, you know what? They've done where do you start on something like this? It's just to get these shapes and this look by using these pieces to just make the nose look right and the teeth. And
I don't know if you can compare them, but I think it's better than a Chewy, but that might just be me. But I'll tell you what, it could be a hot take, right? Because I've also seen it now in hand. I'm not going to buy it. I won't ever buy it. But what's growing on me is the BB-8. Believe it or not, just the more I've seen it, and I think with all the printed pieces and stuff, I just think it's all right actually. So, but yeah.
So this guy's dreaming of a Wookiee catamaran, Geonosis battle, Palpatine's arrest, excuse me. Yeah. And instead we just get more Grogu, more Net and one. Wow.
Well, especially with the film coming out this year, you've got to, it's understandable really.
But go and check out Wicked. Some great stuff.
Possessed Teddy.
But yeah.
Muttley's still in. Muttley, I just need to ask you a weird question. What's your favorite color? So if you're still in the chat, let me know what your favorite color is.
Don't say blue, red, or green.
Well, you can say any of those, but yeah.
If it's what I think it is.
Well, it's supposed to be a surprise, but you probably guessed.
I haven't said anything. I just said
don't say blue, red, or green.
I've guessed.
Yeah.
But have I guessed correctly?
You don't know. Yeah, sorry. I keep telling him to shush, but he's not listening. He's just excited. You haven't seen me all day.
You are the kind of person who looks for rated products. You are likely to be the same person who reads reviews. Yeah, I think for me, Muttley, I tend to only do it. I don't necessarily stick to it because I think there's always at least one negative review. So if you're doing that, but when I'm looking at things that I know nothing about, I wouldn't do it for Lego sets. I wouldn't do it for anything that I think is, your opinion and your experience. But when it's something, specifically something medical, and I can't remember, if I'm honest, the last time I had to do this, but I was looking for the arthritis gloves, and they range from like a $5 up to like, they range from like a $5 up to about 30-40 quid. And I was like, how am I supposed to tell the difference? So then I did look at the ratings, and I saw that the cheaper ones were getting pretty much the same ratings as the higher ones. So I thought, well, I'll go for the cheapest one then. So I ordered it, wore it for a week, and it did absolute wonders because I didn't get any pain. It's like a tension glove, so it keeps the hand tight. Because I was just banding up my hand every day, but of course the bandage you can get for your hand as soon as you wash your hands, which I do obviously lots of throughout the day, it just gets all weird and sticky. So I got the glove instead, and it's been fantastic. So I'd recommend it if you're having any pains with arthritis in your hand like I am, particularly across your knuckles. It kind of tightens the hand, and you can do physical work without that pain. So yeah, so that was the only reason I looked at it. But what I'm saying is that I don't really know what Muttley's getting at here, but I think what he's trying to say is you shouldn't necessarily read reviews, and I kind of agree, especially when it comes to a Lego set, because I wouldn't go and shall I buy the turbo tank? No, the rating is 1.7. Because if you're the kind of person who's thinking about buying, you already know everything about it generally anyway, apart from maybe some grandparents.
I mean, I like to watch people's reviews because I like to see their take on it. But at the end of the day, if I'm gonna set my mind to buy something, and even if the review's crap, I'm still gonna buy it.
Yeah.
I mean, for example,
I was specifically talking about written reviews.
Yeah.
Because that's what we were talking about on that slide. But you're right. Reviews of sets, I think, they're quite key. They serve a purpose, but they're not something I'm necessarily.
Sometimes I like to watch them and disagree. And I like to no, I think you're wrong actually. And
well, I'll only watch a movie review, for example, after I've seen the film, because then I find it interesting.
Very much like you don't want to know too much about it anyway. So
but I wouldn't want to know, because if they do these spoiler-free reviews,
non-spoiler ones, they're still you still getting the.
Yeah, but for me, it's more about I don't want to review until I've got my own take on it. It's not so much about the spoilers. It's more about, for me, it's a post-discussion.
Yeah.
Whenever I would take somebody on a date, they would go, "Oh, let's have food and let's go to the cinema." I said, No. Cinema, then food. Why? Because I want to discuss the movie. Like, what, do you know what I mean? You can't. For me, that was a key thing. The movie, the discussion about the movie. So me and Kirsty, we walk to the cinema. It's about a 20-minute walk from our house. The walk back, discussing the movie. And that for me, that is everything when I go to see a movie. I'm obviously not as passionate about film as I used to be because I don't get to go as much. But, maybe Cool Hand Solo is a movie discussion stream. I don't know.
Oh, right. I might be getting off very soon, mate, because I'm very tired. It's been a very busy day today. And I only forgot one line, so that's not bad.
Do you want to do the super chats and we'll roll out?
Yeah, I'll do the super chats because should have done them earlier. I wasn't too sure if you'd already done them or not. Let's see if I can find them because I now know how to do this. Right. Okay. So first of all, so we have Muggsy Laddie was in there, wasn't he? Yeah. So here's one for Muggsy Lad.
I need your help. I can't tell you what it is. You can never ask me about it later, and we're gonna hurt some people.
Whose car are we gonna take?
Cool. I know Liam's gone to bed, but yeah.
G'day. Want a cold one?
Who the hell are you?
Call me Nugget. I've been looking for Walter Riley. Haven't seen him around, have you?
You should have bought a gun instead of a beer, mate.
Nah, I don't need a gun. I've got a donk.
You've got a what? Donk.
And last but definitely not least.
Saul makes 10. 10 ought to do it, don't you think? You think we need one more? You think we need one more? All right, we'll get one more.
I do like that one. Yeah. We need a few more soon, I think. So
I've got 3 more planned for this year.
cool.
3 more planned for this year. If
Nice.
anybody wants to recommend a viewer that might not already be on my list, let me know.
Yeah, I think the ones I would review is, I think it's probably on your list anyway. So
I don't want to name them.
no,
So I want it to be a surprise. But also, I'm open to other people if they want to try and create one, and we'll throw it up there. Even if they want to create one for themselves and they don't watch very often, happily welcome it. Any support like that, obviously can fund it. If you're technically gifted, they don't take particularly long. If you're me, they take a long time. And if they're Whittakee, they'll probably take you an eternity. But that doesn't mean that he can't do it. So yeah, if anybody wants to help me out, but I'm going to try and commit to doing 3. So if we're in this place next year and there's not 6 on the 6 super chats in our arsenal, then you have the right to scold me.
I'm probably not allowed because I'm a host, but I still think my avatar one should be there somewhere.
Yeah, I think that, it kind of feels like blowing smoke up your ass when you're
Yeah, I suppose.
your own ass when you kind of throw your own super chat up.
Yeah, you should do one for each other. There you go.
That's a good idea. We should do it as our secret Santa next year. So we all get somebody, but we don't know who it is, and we create a super chat for them. How's that? But we can work on it all year. So
Yeah. I think Muttley means
ready.
like, I think Muttley meant, I think more like I should do one about you, and you should do.
That's what I mean. So that's what Santa is, right? So we'll all pick somebody. Nobody will know who they got. Like, I won't know if you got me or if Slurpy's got me or Nimble or whatever. We all do one, so that there's obviously no doubles. And then, and then we'll create one, and it'll just be fun. And then, we've got, or it doesn't have to be at Christmas, but we could do like a Secret Santa is in that style. And we could do it throughout the year. So if yours takes 6 months, then fair enough. Probably like, right, I asked Nimble. Here's my Nimble one. Whatever. But
okay, mate. I think I'm gonna. Like I said, I'm absolutely chattered. And I've got to say it one more time. I'm so sorry about that.
Fine.
I knew instantly when I pressed it. I was like, oh shit. And then I just legged it.
So so thanks everybody for watching. I really appreciate it. Don't forget, like the stream if you haven't already. Do that now. If you're watching on replay, do that now. If you're watching on replay, put a comment below. Doesn't have to be anything engaging, exciting. I get when I watch streams, I'm like, I want to say, well done, this was good. I don't care about any of that. I would love it, but it doesn't need to be that. I don't want to put that much pressure on you. Everybody's got a busy life. Put good stream. Put an emoji of a smile. Put a sausage. Write the word cool hand. Doesn't matter. Comments help the stream out. Help the channel out of any kind. Even if you put stream was crap tonight, it's there behind you. Whittakee's flaps. Oh no, oh no, he isn't. Whatever you want to put, something stupid, something funny. In fact, those comments are more exciting, and if they're really good, funny comments, I'll read them out the following week. But doesn't matter what the comment is, guys. Just put a comment. Just put
a whole new segment, couldn't it? We know
helps out the stream, and keep a lookout. We've got some things planned for this year. I did mention it earlier on, but I'll quickly flick through it now. 3 more super chats coming this year. A new stream series at some point this year called Cool Hand Solo. Just be me on my own. Content yet to be decided. Is it going to be Star Wars book content? Is it going to be movie content? We don't know. More build streams, possibly with Liam, possibly with Nimble, possibly with Garrett, Whittakee if he ever decides he wants to do one.
I'm always, mate. I'm always
It's not a closed door, mate. You just gotta organize it, and I'll let you set up that stream. But
because when you have occasionally done some, I've jumped on, haven't I? Because it's like I always feel like, should I ask? Should I?
But I never ask anybody. Do you want to do a build stream? They always ask me. So
yeah, no, I'm always happy for that.
So yeah, you organize the time, a date, and set up the stream, mate. I'm there. But so and you could do it on your channel if you want. Just use this stream to do it on your channel.
Yeah, but I still don't know how to do a bleeding thumbnail. So
well, that
to teach me.
But so what else? What kind of thing would you want on a thumbnail? Because I could just set you up like a template one, and all you'd have to do then is bang it up and then add the set to the corner or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. Just depends on what the show's going to be about, isn't it? Really. So, but I don't know. I'll think about it.
Have a think. Let me know. I can bang something together. I'd rather put something together though you use continuously.
Yeah.
So that's coming. We got the 48-hour streamathon. Might not be as early in the year as last year, but hoping to plan that out. We think we've got a charity nailed down. So we're going to try and organize that. And hopefully we're going to get at least 24 stream channels out there, separate ones, to do a 2-hour slot each during the streamathon. And it'll be pass the baton. Next, go over to Whittakee's channel. Next, go over to Cool Hands channel. Next, go over to link is below, stream raid. Everybody move across. And I will be asking people if they do want to take part to finish their streams on the 2-hour mark, unless they do it a double slot or whatever. Because the whole point of it is that you go from one stream to the other and whatever, if you can. Whereas some people did like an hour, the first hour of their 3-hour stream. So it kind of kept people there. I'm not, there's no gain or loss for anybody. So it's not like, oh, I don't want anybody staying on your channel. But, the idea was to be like a relay race kind of thing, passing the baton on. But, you're welcome to, I still welcome offers regardless. So please let me know, private chat, if you'd like to be part of that, and time that suits you. And eventually I'll get something put together like I did last year. So that's coming. And what else have we got? Bricktastic content with some Bricktastic people coming on. Hopefully we're going to try and get Lego Team B on. Hopefully we've got Greg coming on the show in the next couple of weeks as the hype begins for Bricktastic.
Yeah,
so next week,
I bought my tickets the other day, so that's all done.
Hey, well done, mate. Well done. Yeah, I was meant to say well done. 2025 year in review will be next week. We'll talk a little bit about 2026, but we'll review 2025 with a slideshow and an opportunity for you guys out there to have your say on some of the sets that we've picked. But following on from that episode, so this has been episode 67. Episode 68 will be your 2025 in review, and then episode 69 will start the Bricktastic for a couple of weeks. And that's what we're going to you guys.
We're including that in our pantomime as well.
It's everywhere, mate.
You've got to keep current, sort of thing. I mean, I'll tell you, people are not going to obviously come to my pantomime and watch this. So I will say there was a controversial, but we're keeping it in. There is one that is like we're in a school sort of thing, and there's one that says, what happens to boys who tell lies? And the answer is, they grow up to be the Duke of York.
Wow.
And what's the other one? Name an animal that ain't got a backbone. And one of us stands up and goes, Keir Starmer. That's pantomime for you.
Yeah, I was going to say, they are supposed to be like, because I remember them being like that, but when you're a kid, you don't always necessarily understand it.
It's for the adults, that side. Yeah. So anyway, right.
But look, guys, appreciate you all. Yeah, thanks for Whittakee for jumping on towards the end. Well, second half, I guess now. Yeah. But so what do you want to do? How do you want to play it out? Should we just do typical fashion, or should we just do topical fashion? And should we just say, oh no?
Oh no!